process and making it super easy on you. To learn more, visit their website, upkeepstl.com. If you use the code DGS, you get $100 off your service. upkeepstl.com.
If you're like me, you've been spending a lot of time at home. You may be noticing the scuffs and faded colors on your walls, the cracked, peeling paint on the outside of your home. Protect your home investment with quality painting from CertaPro painters. They make your experience worry-free, starting with a free on-site or remote estimate. It's your choice. I did one from the comfort of my own home. It's quick, safe, and easy. You can trust them to get the job done right. Schedule your free estimate today at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with the C.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a better neighbor because my service has taught me how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me in my classes when I give attention to detail to the task at hand. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Missouri Army National Guard. Aired by the Missouri Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey guys, Glover here from my very good friends at ThrottleNet. So if you ever listen to one of these recorded ads, listen to this one. A company can expect 232 targeted cyber attacks per year that results in 30 breaches. 24% of businesses hit with malware took a week or more to regain access to their data. Many businesses just flat go under. They are targeting small towns. They are targeting dentist offices. They are targeting big businesses. They're targeting government. You're going to get hit. Let me tell you about ThrottleNet. ThrottleNet has saved their clients more than $2.6 million in ransom last year alone. And get this. ThrottleNet clients have never paid a dime in ransomware. Let me say that again. They've never paid a dime because they are protected. No contracts. Leave anytime you want. You have to check these guys out. You'll find them at throttlenet.com to protect your business, to protect everything you have. Go to throttlenet.com.
Stay connected every weekday. Mark Cox and Ryan Kilmeade in the morning. Annie Frey, then Dave Glover in the afternoon. Sean Hannity every weekday evening. 97.1 FM Talk. Streaming at 971talk.com. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Some in your party defund the police. $1 billion gone from NYPD. That was what protesters had said they wanted. They're still in the streets. It wasn't enough. What really are you looking for? And I know you don't represent the whole party, but those that you're familiar with who would want this, what is being sought at this point? What makes this a situation that we all can live with?
So that's Harris Faulkner on Outnumbered right before we started the show. And because of the proximity of Outnumbered to our beginning of the show, I watch it and I kind of consume that. I had Ron DeSantis's press conference running over here. I have a vested interest in what's going on in Florida these days. And Ron DeSantis in Florida right now is basically saying we're testing everybody, and the people who are testing positive right now, because everybody is melting down about the positive test cases or positive cases coming out of Florida. He's like, the average age is 36 years old of people who are testing positive, which is way different than he pointed out early on, where Florida did this. Cuomo did not do this in New York. They were testing everybody all the time in nursing homes originally to make sure that there was no situation in the nursing homes that would be catastrophic, which we did see in New York. So that's happening over here. Meanwhile, I've got another ear on Outnumbered, and this interaction here between Harris Faulkner and Leslie Marshall, who is a Democrat that I enjoy watching. She doesn't To me, she doesn't speak in a bombastic way. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people who are listening to this show right now, whether you're listening on the radio.com app, you're listening in your car on your way through the drive-thru, or maybe you're streaming us live on Facebook, on the Annie Frey Show Facebook page or the Annie Frey YouTube page on your smart TV. While you're listening to this show right now, you probably, maybe every once in a while it's a shot in the arm, but you don't want the bombastic politics from the people who are out there who are making a living off of being bombastic. That is definitely an industry right now. You have people on the left and you have people on the right, equally so, who have a way of getting at their point through rage and shock and awe. I don't like that personally because it stresses me out. It's not that if I see like a shock jock, so to speak, of somebody who, maybe is saying things that I completely agree with, but when it comes at me in an incredibly aggressive way, it turns me off. And I'm like, this is stressing me out. I need to be able to know what's going on in the world right now, but I don't want to leave this conversation or me sitting down to watch you, expound upon whatever is the issue of the day, where I feel like I need to go have therapy afterwards or go blow off some steam. I like Leslie Marshall because she is a Democrat. She is a radio host. And I think that it's sufferable for me in the way that I kind of hope to be sufferable for people who listen to this show who aren't conservative like I am, but you can tune in and hear how the other side thinks. So you have Harris Faulkner here saying to Leslie Marshall, what is to come of this defund the police movement? We know that Bill de Blasio in New York City has taken back like $1 billion. It's insanity of what we are seeing come out of this defund the police movement. And I want you to listen to what Leslie Marshall says here, and we're going to break it up into a few pieces. And I want to get the reaction here of Ryan as well. And we've got Frank Ladd filling in for Katie, who is taking a day off. We miss her, but we are very happy to have Frank's hand be part of the show. You can see him on the webcam as we stream live. Frank has been with this show probably longer than anybody. And so he's taken another day with us. So we're grateful to have him here. Let's listen to what Leslie Marshall says to Harris Faulkner's question. What is to come of all this defund the police movement?
The majority of those protesting and the majority of those in my party want reformation. When they ask for defund the police, they don't want the elimination of the police. They just don't want officers responding to mental illness situations that could be better handled by sociologists, social workers, psychologists, and people like that. Here's the problem I and many Democrats have, and some both left and right were talking in my backyard yesterday, protesting for rights. These individuals should take a cue from other people that protested fabulously. Rosa Parks, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., peacefully. These protesters who are violent are hurting the demands, if you will, and the request of those protesting nationwide.
Okay, so hold on a hot second here. These protesters who are violent, they're taking away from the overall message. Hold on to that, because this is going to get, I think that Leslie Marshall is saying a lot of things here that are in the world of common sense that we do not currently live in. I get what she's saying. I get where she's coming from. But she's saying right now that these protesters who are shooting children dead in the streets of Atlanta, of Chicago, of New York City, across this country, how many other ones do we just not know about because the cities aren't big enough and they don't fit a political narrative for us to talk about? These are African-American children being shot in the streets, in their homes, in their vehicles, because they are in the wrong place at the wrong time. And there's a protest that seems to be the most important thing, more important than the lives of collateral damage of children who happen to be nearby. But listen to what she says there. There are protesters who are basically destroying the message being sent by the ones being peaceful.
I'm a mom. Anybody, I think even if you're not a mom or a dad, to see a child die, but also black on black crime has been a problem in places like Chicago, not just this year, not just from the death of Mr. George Floyd, right, but in 2019 and 2018, if we look at these numbers. And we also know statistically that reducing federal and state budgets with regard to law enforcement doesn't correlate to an increase in crime. One of the problems here is you have definitely some bad apples with guns out there with a different agenda than most of the people in my party who are asking.
What? You have some bad apples of people out there with guns. Let's listen to that one more time, because this is where we need to take back common sense.
To law enforcement doesn't correlate to an increase in crime. One of the problems here is you have definitely some bad apples with guns out there with a different agenda than most of the people in my party who are asking for reform. They're not asking for people to be killed while they're screaming for reform at these protests.
So can we say the same thing about bad cops? Holy crap, folks. You've got some bad apples, some people with guns who have a different agenda than the majority of people in her party. Why does she get to say that? Why is it that you can have Leslie Marshall, who I think is an approachable and well-articulated Democrat, where I probably disagree with her on 80% of policy positions that she has. She's saying something that makes a lot of sense. The whataboutism right now in our country, in our politics, in our conversations is killing us. Because I could say to Leslie Marshall, she should not be saying that. She should not get to talk like that. But the answer is we should be able to. We should be able to call out the police officers, the bad apples with guns who have a different agenda than we are, where we get to say that we want reform. But that's not the conversation we're having in our country right now, is it? We're not discussing how to reform police officers. That's not the discussion that we're having on a national stage. That's not the discussion that's taking place where we saw the statue of Frederick Douglass be torn down this weekend. That's the dumbest thing I have ever heard. So freaking ignorant. And the ignorant mob is what's getting the most attention. Listen one more time to what she says about the bad apples in the protests, about the people who are using this movement for something else, and they're taking the message away. And hear what she says about the protesters in the Democratic Party and apply it to police officers and the Republican Party.
You have definitely some bad apples with guns out there with a different agenda than most of the people in my party who are asking for reform. They're not asking for people to be killed while they're screaming for reform at these protests.
So you think that there aren't police officers, and I'm not even asking you this question because I know them personally because I talk to them, who see what happened to George Floyd. You remember him? Remember how he's the one who started all of this? Who see George Floyd's death and go, holy smokes, that is wrong. And I am ashamed that that person is wearing the badge that I'm wearing. Do you think there are police officers all over the country who are saying that's wrong and something needs to change? We need to get those bad apples out so that our message, our policing message, the people who go and sacrifice their lives every day and, God willing, come home to their spouses and their children, where their parents are waiting for them to see them the next time, to hear from them the next time, because they are risking their lives. And it's more dangerous now than ever to be a police officer, a law enforcement officer in this climate, because there are some bad apples that these protesters have turned in to the entire profession that we cannot live without. We need to be able to say the same thing, and we need to say it louder, because I agree with Leslie Marshall. I'm not saying that she's a hypocrite, because she's saying what we all need to be saying. And we need to stop spending the time where you hear something like that and just go, well, if the Democrats can say that and the Republicans can't. What we need to do is we need to lean on people like Leslie Marshall, who is a Democrat, and say, you know what? I see what you're saying. I want to listen to what these protests have to say. That doesn't mean that you have to have your entire opinion changed about this in the end, but you can listen. But people need to listen right back, and we need to start standing up for what's right. I mean, Ryan, I hope you had a good 4th of July weekend. And I didn't, this happened right before the show. I've got a stack of things here to talk about, and that kind of took it over. But the hypocrisy is exhausting.
Yeah, I wrote down a few notes of what she was saying, and you can disagree or agree, but she's making a few points that I thought were noteworthy. The violence is taking away from the message of the peaceful protest. That was very, very interesting. I'm glad to hear that.
True.
She addresses black on black crime. She talks about the reduction in law enforcement, maybe not correlating with an increase in crime. I'd love to see the stats on that. But I think this is a great debate. My criticism is, why is this only happening on Fox? You have to turn to Fox to get good, balanced debate like this. I mean, I wish this could happen on CNN or any other station, because they're going to criticize Fox for being constantly, too conservative. But there are debates like this happening on Fox, and they're not happening elsewhere.
And on top of that, while they are happening on Fox News, and, like, I remember Brian Kilmeade was at the library for a book event he did. And he's like, people were suggesting that the other main media outlets, the mainstream media, if you will, they're all leaning and some people say that Fox is too right leaning. And he said, every person who I meet says, Brian, I love your show, or I love what you do there, but I can't stand that Juan Williams. Or they list off like 6 or 7 to 10 different people who why do you have this guy on there? And why do you have, and he's like, because we're balanced. And if the people on Fox that you don't love, when they come on, you're like, here we go. That's because they offer altering opinions. I don't know anybody who goes on CNN right now who I'm like, here he comes. Here's my guy, or here she is. This is what I've been waiting for. She's going to really let him have it. It does not happen. It doesn't. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Before we go, want to acknowledge the passing of Charlie Daniels, which is really, really sad. And I don't know much about his passing, but definitely we're going to maybe play some of his music later on in the show. And that's kind of reverberating through the country at this point in time. The news just broke right before the show started. All right, Frank, let's take a break. Frank says he had a stroke. That's too bad. Well, we will miss Charlie Daniels and everything that he has done for this country, the music that he has given this country. And I know there's probably a lot of Charlie Daniels fans out there right now listening to this show. So thanks for being here. Inviting you to join us live on our YouTube live stream. If you type in Annie Frey, Frey in YouTube, our show will pop up and you can watch us on your smart TV. And if you're on the go, tune us in on radio.com, an app you can take on your phone. You can, it's on my Chrysler Pacifica that I got from Cassins. There's a radio.com app when I plug in my phone. I could pull up radio.com. That's pretty cool. Let's take a quick break and get a COVID update when we come back. Every Monday, we speak with Dr. Scott Hardiman, a physician at Gateway ENT and urgent specialist, and he gives us the straight facts on COVID. If you've got a question for the doctor, you need to get on our Facebook Live or YouTube Live right now and ask it, and we'll get it in the conversation. Don't go anywhere. Back in a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Hey guys, Glover here. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the DGS.
When you're trying to lose weight, there are so many different places you can go, so many different diets you can try. But I want to talk to you about the one that worked for me, and that's Slim 180. You can call Slim 180 at 888-754-6111, and you can visit them online at myslim180.com to find out more. But let me tell you about my experience. I wanted to lose 20 pounds. I am now down 17 pounds with Slim 180, and I lost like 16 of them super, super fast. And I did it with the medically supervised HCG rapid weight loss program. My husband and I went through the plan and did it together. And his success was I think it was over 20 pounds. And we are both at our lowest weights in adult life post kids. It's pretty amazing, and I'm pretty proud of it. And I want to share it with you. So call 888-754-6111. That's 888-754-6111. Call Slim 180, ask them about what Annie Frey did, and they will set you up. You will be so very glad you did. Don't put it off any longer. myslim180.com.
As temperatures heat up, so are the savings. During our Legacy Box Cyber Summer Sale, we're offering 50% off. Legacy Box is the best way to preserve your home movies and photos.
Legacy Box is one of the most meaningful things you can do for your family. Plus, we've made it simple and safe, and it's currently on sale.
Legacy Box is an all-in-one mailed kit to having your aging media converted to digital. Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film reels, and photos.
Our staff of over 250 professionals digitize everything by hand right here in the United States. In a few weeks, you get everything back on DVD or digital, ready to watch and enjoy.
We've helped over 850,000 families relive their glory days. Get started today rescuing your trapped videotapes and photos.
Shop our Cyber Summer Sale to save 50% off today. Buy now and save big, and send in your media when you're ready. Visit legacybox.com/gift. That's legacybox.com/gift for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/gift.
At Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, our goal is to continue to serve you while protecting your home. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis knows day-to-day routines have changed in your homes and in your lives, and we will continue to put the safety of our customers and coworkers first. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis today and get 18 months 0% interest on your new garage door for qualified buyers. Go to overheaddoorstlouis.com or call us today at 314-781-5200. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. With all the bad news out there, it's easy to miss the good news. Mortgage rates are at historic lows, making now a great time to buy or refinance a home. My customers are locking in the best rates in a generation. Now is the time to use the equity in your home to cash out for a remodel, pay off high-interest credit card debt, or rid yourself of the dreaded PMI. During these volatile times, you need an experienced local loan officer working for you. Call me, Michael Mohan, at 314-336-6050. I'm here in St. Louis, and when you call, you talk to me. Whether you are purchasing or refinancing, I want to help you save money on your home loan. Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage, 314-336-6050. Online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, NMLS 250353224143.
Hi, this is Craig Jensen, trial attorney at Meyer Jensen. As in many areas of life, experience counts, and our law firm has been proud to represent thousands of people who have sustained unfortunate and serious injuries for well over 30 years. We have handled many different kinds of cases involving all types of injuries, but automobile or semi-truck accidents can be especially devastating. If you've experienced an injury from an auto or truck collision, call us. We can help. 618-463-1000 or visit us online at meyerjensen.com. That's meyerjensen.com.
You're making your voice heard, and St. Louis is listening.
It's really a pleasure listening. It's very well-grounded.
It's the place for ideas.
Intelligent and articulate and informed.
97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
My heart's in overdrive and you're behind the steering wheel. Touching you, touching me, touching you, got to touch you.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for joining us. Happy Monday. Hope you had a fantastic weekend celebrating the country and celebrating your freedom. Whatever that looks like to you, we are very grateful that you have resumed your Monday here with us. You can stream us on our radio.com app and take us with you anywhere you go. But you can also watch the show live on facebook.com/Annie Frey Show, on our YouTube live. YouTube, just go to YouTube and type in Annie Frey. You'll see our live there, and you can send your questions in for our next guest. Let's welcome on Dr. Scott Hardiman again every Monday, physician at Gateway ENT and urgent specialist, joining us now to give us the straight facts on the latest with COVID-19. Doctor, it's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you. Happy belated 4th of July.
Yes, you as well. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I want to ask you a little bit about the surge of cases that we're seeing in Florida specifically. And the reason why I go to Florida is because I was watching a Governor Ron DeSantis press conference right before the show started. And he was making a lot of, I think, very key points that they are doing a ton of testing in Florida. He said the average age of the person testing positive in Florida for coronavirus now is 36 years old. And as we continue to see a lot of headlines in cable news and in the articles that we read a lot that Florida is surging, they're pairing that with the initial approach that Florida took to this coronavirus. I'm just curious if you have a great concern right now about the direction that the testing is going in Florida.
Well, I think that like we talked about last week, that as we expand testing, you're going to see more and more cases turn up positive. There's testing happening for both symptomatic patients, but a large proportion of testing is being done for asymptomatic people. You know, what we've seen locally, even in St. Louis, is just the exposure someone has, or there's that fear factor that's out there. So as soon as someone hears that they may have been in contact with someone that was exposed or has the virus, then of course they immediately want to go get tested. You're going to see people, the testing rapidly exploded over the past month or so, and you're going to see those positives begin to uptick. What they're seeing as far as the age really makes sense, right? Because the younger population is getting out and moving around a bit more. But I really want to focus in on those key issues, the fact that the hospitalization rates and the death rates, et cetera, are leveling. Even the data today, although some of it hasn't been reported yet, really seems to be showing a leveling effect of that across the nation. Certainly in our area, the numbers have been very flat or decreasing as well. So I think it's just a natural progression as we move from place to place that didn't see their peak initially, that is starting to see those now. And hopefully, like we saw our peak 6 weeks or so ago, we'll start to see those numbers decline a bit as well across the nation.
Dr. Hardiman, as we've seen the cases go up throughout June, I'm looking at the graph right now. It looks like deaths in the United States due to coronavirus have not only stayed low, but they've continued to decline. That would mean, it seems to me, that as the cases go up and the death rate goes down, we're getting to a point where the percentage of people who have the disease who die is getting pretty low. Are we getting into flu territory yet with that?
Well, by the CDC's own website, it says that they've downgraded that the death rate to 0.4%, and I think that's going to continue to decline as well. It was an interesting discussion over the weekend I had with someone that, we don't survey the flu to this degree, right? I mean, we're not running around testing every single person that gets a fever or a sniffle during the winter. We just assume that they had influenza when that happens during flu season. So I think you're absolutely right. I think that the overall mortality rate across the board is going to continue to decline as a result of the numbers of people that are testing positive or getting tested. But if you really stratify that on the age groups, we're already in flu territory or below. If you look at the less than 50 population, less than 60 population, it really doesn't jump up until you get into that 65-year-old age range and above. And then the numbers do creep up for the reasons that we've been discussing: older population, more health-related issues too.
We're speaking with Dr. Scott Hardiman. He's a physician at Gateway ENT, also at Urgent Specialist, a great partner of this show, urgentspecialist.com. I'm curious about your, not to ask too personal of a question, but like how your trajectory of how you've been acting and participating in things outside the home versus inside the home as the months have gone on, and also how that you might anticipate that going into the fall. We hear about a second wave. I don't know if that's something you're anticipating, but if you've got a healthy family, if you are aware of your your presence and you're keeping yourself sanitized, you're wearing your mask or whatever you do or don't do, how are you handling the numbers as they go and the way you participate in whatever we can air quote as normal?
Well, let me answer that two ways. One, just from a physician perspective in our office, we have not changed largely what we've done since the inception with this. We screen patients for active health diseases, take temperatures in the office. Our staff and our patients, we're asking them to mask up until we can get some sense of what they're in for. And then, your guard level comes down as you realize that they're not there with any sort of active respiratory illness to be able to take care of their health-related issues. From a personal note, from a family perspective, fortunately, we're all staying healthy, but I'd be lying if we didn't know people or have close friends that have tested positive at one point or another. Fortunately, all of those in my circle have been either asymptomatic or very minimal symptoms overall. So I think the measure of caution that we sort of talk about, a lot of hand washing, being cognizant of other people's health issues. So if you see someone that's coughing and sneezing, and hopefully that person would have had the forethought to stay home if they could until they can determine what their health issue is. But if you do see those folks, give a little extra measure of distance between them. You know, the face mask order that we now have in the county and in the city area, obviously people are doing that. There's a lot of debate back and forth about the real merit of face masks. I think overall it kind of makes people somewhat aware of the fact that they should be more conscious of their health, but you have to be cognizant of not touching things and then touching your mask and, you know, potentially exposing yourself that way too. I always kind of drag back that 1% we talked about. We've been talking about every couple of weeks or so of the percentage of true positives based upon the number of people are testing. And we started in Missouri back in the middle of this. About 10% was our peak. A few weeks ago, we were 8, then 7.5. Now I think today I looked at it, it's 5.1% or 5.2% of all people being tested actually have coronavirus, but you wouldn't necessarily think that's the case based upon what you see. You would think it's just rampant everywhere. And then just the reality is it's a respiratory illness. It's going to move through our communities. We just need to be conscious of that, learn to live with it, understand that the vast, vast, vast majority of people that get it are going to be just fine. They're going to get through it okay. We just need to be aware and protect those that are most vulnerable.
Dr. Scott Hardiman joining us on the phone from Urgent Specialist. Vicky from our Facebook Live feed asked the question, of course, you know, what do you think about a vaccine? What are you seeing? When do you think one will be available? But also, who will be most likely to get the first ones?
Well, the second question is a tough one to answer. There's a tremendous amount of research going on vaccines. Obviously, right now, there haven't been a lot of updates within the past couple of weeks or so. There was some promising data initially about several different vaccine manufacturers, and a lot of testing is going on. But those are newer technology vaccines that are being tested in animal models as well as the human population kind of simultaneously. When's it available? Realistically, we've not been able to ramp up a vaccine without a couple of years' time in this country to any great merit. I think it just comes down to a safety profile. You can prove an endpoint that a vaccine works, but you have to make sure that it doesn't cause other health-related issues for folks. My suspicion is who's going to get it. It's probably going to be the older population, the folks that tend to have other health-related issues will be encouraged strongly to get it. And then I think probably folks in the healthcare environment will be asked to, just like we're asked to get flu vaccines or told to get flu vaccines in the hospital sector every year as well.
Dr. Hardiman, I want to ask you a question from Don, who's watching on the Annie Frey YouTube live. Don says, for those that have to wear a mask, is it better to switch masks every hour or to wear the same one all day, or does it matter? What kind of mask etiquette advice do you have for us?
Well, the first thing I would say is try not to touch the mask itself, the part that's up against your face. That's hard to do. I mean, these masks are not comfortable to wear. I ran through an airport this morning and had a mask on, and you realize it's actually a little bit difficult to breathe with these on when you're doing much. So try to keep them clean. The surgical masks are the ones that are medical grade masks. I think swapping those out certainly every day, or if they get soil, get rid of them. But if you can try to manage and handle them from the earpieces as opposed to right on your face. And before you do that, if you can make sure that you wash your hands before you touch the mask too, because it doesn't do a whole lot of good to touch something that someone's just coughed on and then touch the mask right by your face and contaminate that, where potentially could cause an exposure issue. So changing them frequently, or if they're cloth masks, washing them frequently are a good idea.
I want to ask you real quick before we get to the next question here. I saw somebody on a Facebook group that I follow. We're going to a place that is requiring that you wear masks to participate in it. And somebody commented on there, what am I supposed to do if I have to sneeze? And I thought that this was kind of an ironic question. But if you have a mask, you're supposed to sneeze into the mask, right? You can't move the mask to cover your mouth, your sneeze. Like that isn't that the point of a mask?
That's exactly right. That's kind of the whole purpose, right? Is that you're trying to break down that aerosolization or the droplet particulate matter that passes through. So wearing the mask at that time is the ideal time. Sneeze into the mask, right? And then perhaps change it shortly after that.
I love to hear that because I did that this morning and it was gross.
You sneezed into a mask?
I was in Walmart and I didn't know what else to do, so that's what I did.
I think the stupidest
and prepare
thing
to be stared at by everyone, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Especially if you move the mask to sneeze. Like that's just
yes, right.
But I think a lot of people have that question.
It is counterintuitive. You feel like I've got to move this mask because I need to sneeze. You're like, no, that's the point of it. I guess I got to deal with it.
Soil yourself.
Yeah.
Last question.
I think the take home. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think the take-home point with these masks is that you're really kind of, trying to protect other people from, you coughing or sneezing on someone else in that case. These masks are really not have the filtration capacity to stop an aerosolization of virus getting to you. It just really doesn't work in that regard. So you're being respectful to other people.
Right. It's exactly what I was doing, Dr. Hardiman.
And
last
disrespecting
question.
himself in the process.
Exactly. Last question for you is, I'm seeing a lot about the mutation of the disease. Is it getting worse? Is it getting better? Because I've seen both.
Hard to know. I'm not convinced yet that there's much data to support that there's any aggressive nature of the mutation to this. I think viruses and bacteria do have the capacity to go through that process. It's just too early on. Certainly, I don't think you can draw the conclusion from these recent spikes in certain parts of the country that it implies a more virulent strain of the virus at this point. I think this is just, again, the natural ebb and flow that we're going to see as it moves through the country. So time will tell. And it doesn't seem as if that's really vetting out to a large degree from other countries that have moved down this path ahead of us either.
I'm going to sneak in one last one here. Vicky says, so I guess shoving my mask in my purse doesn't really help. Well, yeah, I'm guilty of that. What are people supposed to do with their masks? If they go into Walmart and then they sneeze all over themselves and then they come back into their car, what's the best way to store a mask from maybe if you're out running errands from store to store to store?
Yeah, put it in a little brown paper bag of sorts or some sort of old piece of Tupperware. But I throw mine at the end of the day in a little piece of brown paper bag, a little sandwich bag. That works pretty well.
Okay. Yeah, great advice there. We got a lot of questions. We're going to let Dr. Hardiman go today because he's got to run. But we are always grateful for the time you spend here. And I want people to know that you can go to Urgent Specialists online at urgentspecialist.com. If you are in need of a test, they have them there, and it's also the best in urgent care in all of St. Louis. It's urgentspecialist.com. And Doctor, always grateful to have you on the show with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much. Take care.
Yep, you as well. Dr. Scott Hardiman with Urgent Specialists on the phone with us, and he gives us updates every Monday, and it's always great to have him joining us here. Sorry if we didn't get to your question. Thank you for everybody who submitted them. We're going to take a quick break here, and we can talk a little bit more about this issue. I've got a Facebook message here from Darren who wants to know about the Governor Pritzker, the lawsuit. Did you see about that? That Pritzker lost a lawsuit, the Darren Bailey lawsuit. Mm-hmm. I'm going to reach out to some of my connections and see if I can get somebody on today last minute to discuss this. Stephen Moore is going to join us at 1:00, and he's going to give us an update on the economy. Last I checked, the stock market was going gangbusters today. So we'll see if that continues on through the day. And Kayleigh McEnany is giving a press conference right now. We'll see if she had anything exciting to say. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com. Lakeside Renovation and Design used to be known for doing just exteriors, but they expanded inside. They had such great customer referrals. So many people wanted to be repeat customers because when it comes time to redo your kitchen, you want to make sure that the job gets done right, it gets done fast, and it gets done in a way that is respectful of your home, like cleaning up the job site every day when they leave. That's basic stuff, but not everybody does it. Lakeside does. Or making sure that they show up on time, making sure that they respect your time, your home. Lakeside is there in spades, and they're very, very good at what they do. I love following Lakeside Renovation and Design on Instagram and on Facebook because they show some of the exterior and interior transformations that they have. I've been through their showroom. It is gorgeous. The products that they have for you, the guidance that they can provide for you, it's all available to you online at lakesiderenovationanddesign.com. Also, make sure you inquire about the 18 months interest-free financing. Go for it online at lakesiderenovationanddesign.com.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times with this social distancing, face mask wearing, staying at home world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. Hope that your retirement plans don't take a backseat. You've watched the market drop and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments and find out how you may be able to save big on taxes while the market is down. Find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call the team today to set up a meeting, 314-373-1598, Compass Retirement Solutions, 314-373-1598. And for more on retirement planning, listen to Rethinking Retirement, Saturdays at 8 and 4 and Sundays at 11. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Compass Retirement Solutions does not provide tax advice.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del will show you how to retire in 2 to 5 years. Your age doesn't matter. Turn off the pundits and turn on the passive income. Tune in to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Tune in to the Del Walmsley Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. Weeknights at 7 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Do one thing to protect the environment. It all starts with just one thing. Thinking green can make people think of new and useful innovations. A scuba diving group recently started making face masks out of plastic bottles that were found in the ocean. So not only is the group helping clean up the oceans and recycling, but also helping people protect themselves in these uncertain times. What innovative ways can you help the environment? It all starts with one thing. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
More than ever, this is where St. Louis is coming to talk. Computer, smart speaker, radio, phone. People are gathering here. Thanks for listening and staying connected. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Thanks for joining us today. So we got Ryan Wiggins and Frank Ladd in here. Katie is taking a day off. She just couldn't take it any longer. She had to take some time off. She's always taking vacations.
Yeah, she doesn't work very hard.
No, not at all. Frank is back. Frank, I think I wanted to look back and I forgot to mark the date. My first Saturday show ever was June 16th, I think. I think it was June 18th of 2016. So I'd have to go back and look at a calendar. Yeah, I look at a map, and then the map would tell me to go look at a calendar, and I would find out when my first show was. I think Rachel from the Dave Glover Show was my executive producer for maybe 3 weeks. It might have been 2,
if that.
And then Frank got to step up and be a part of the Annie Frey Show. And Frank and I teamed up and spent every Saturday evening together for 2 years. At the old place doing this little Annie Frey Show thing. And then eventually we managed to land on middays, and he was here with us until when was that?
I don't remember. It was 4 months ago.
4 months ago?
4 months.
Is it a blur since you've been on mornings now?
Well, when you're waking up at 3 a.m. every day of the week.
You get home a lot earlier.
Yeah, but then you have to sleep. and then it
takes a kind of person.
Nothing is happening for me after 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It's rollicking.
Well, and even before that, even before Saturdays in 2016, Frank and I in a world long gone worked together at a different radio station
a lifetime ago.
Yes,
multiple owners ago
in Sports Talk, and that's where Frank and I met for the first time. And he and I don't know, did we never worked together on Frank Cusimano's talk show, did we?
You had already moved over to 1190.
Yeah.
You were just in that little closet.
It was legitimately a closet.
Really, she broadcast notes out of a closet.
And do you know what I started? My first foray into actual employed work, because I was an intern with Frank Cusimano on his sports talk show. I don't know. I assume he remembers that. And I hope so. I enjoy him. He's one of the kindest, nicest people in St. Louis media. I then got asked to stay on as an unpaid employee. They basically offered to extend my unpaid internship after school, after I graduated from college, which if you've ever known anyone or been associated with radio, you're like, yeah, that sounds about right.
You too, folks, can get into this career. Yeah. It's not that hard. We
That's
just
right.
pay you.
My dad was in
That's
radio
right.
from the 70s on, and he told me when I was going to take my first internship, he was like, Annie, radio sounds like it's Hollywood. It sounds like it's going to be just amazing. And people who are on the outside just think it's like just this really sexy environment where you get to do all these cool things. He goes, you are going to have to move the ketchup packets out of the way at your first desk and clean off the coffee stains. And I'm not going to say that was the way it was at my first employer, but
you had a desk?
It wasn't.
Wow.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. There was no desk. And when I finally got a desk to sit at, I didn't get paid to sit there. It is what it is.
I got a question.
That
Annie,
was really big league, wasn't it, over there?
Since Frank is here, it's an Annie Frey show folklore question that I need to clarify.
I don't know if I approve of this.
Well, okay. Well, I think you will, because I think it's a question that you probably know the answer to, but I don't.
Folklore.
Who is responsible for the Annie Frey show open? Is it Frank or is it Rachel?
It's Rachel.
Come on, turn the radio.
Rachel.
She made that.
100% Rachel. I did some tweaks when we moved some stuff around, but very little. It was all Rachel.
Yeah,
So
and the
that
original
has been
file
from-
that she
yeah.
created that does not exist.
No.
So I almost wonder if she it made it cause, this will self-destruct so that it has to stay that way. But it's great. I people are always like, man,
It's
that
catchy.
opening
It's a
you
great
have.
song.
It is. Everything about it is fantastic. And I remember because I worked, I've told the story a million times, but if you're new to the show, thanks for joining us. And I've been with 97.1 for going on 11 years. Is that right? No, well, I've been here for 11 years. Yeah, over 11 years. And I was the digital brand manager for the station. So I worked entirely in the support role until this became my full-time gig a little over 2 years ago. And when our program director, Jeff, at the time had said, Annie, I'd like you to try this out. And then Mark Cox ended up shifting to middays and 2 hours opened up on the weekend. And he offered me that. It never really felt real until Rachel's like, sends me this email. It's like, I want you to listen to this. And I'm like, oh my God, that's for me. That can't be for me. That's way too cool to be for me. And it's still like, she spent 2 weeks on this show. And the thing that people like really associate with this show, people talk to me all the time, like, my children can say your intro word for word. That is the coolest thing ever. And I'm forever grateful for Rachel for putting that together. And, it's just part of the thing now.
So did she come up with all of it herself or did you have a finger in it? Did you like, well, I like this song and this drop is funny. Could we use that somehow?
The America's Sweetheart song, I stumbled across. It's funny. We were just talking to my mom about this yesterday because we were over swimming at her house. And I had a Spotify playlist playing, which if you're a Spotify user.
I wasn't invited, Ryan, to the pool. Were you?
You would have been.
Oh, yeah, I was
because
there.
there were.
There?
It was my husband, myself, my mom, and 6 small children. So we could have used any help. Yeah, and Ryan, but he was standing in the bushes, and I didn't really understand why. He just stood there.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm like, hey, this is fine, you guys.
Yeah, but you didn't say anything. You were just peeking. It didn't. I didn't ever really want to draw attention to it because I thought it might make you uncomfortable.
I was focusing on my video camera stuff.
Oh God. Thanks,
Frank. Camera work,
Frank.
Okay, so
you can come back next week.
Your
you come back
song
tomorrow and the day after that.
Yeah,
your
song.
My Spotify playlist is going, and the reason I found the song "America's Sweetheart," which is by Elle King, who ironically, I don't know if it's ironic, it's just science, biology, is the daughter of Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
Who is the making copies guy from SNL. I don't think they have a great relationship. Maybe they do now. I don't know. But I typed in for a Saturday show that I was doing. I typed in, or maybe it was when I was filling in or something. It was, you know what it was? I was filling in for Mark Cox, and I'm sure it was a July 4th holiday weekend, which is why Mark was gone. And I typed in Spotify in the word America just to see, you only have so many songs. You pop up a lot of country stuff and maybe some old classic, whatever, patriotic songs. And this song, America's Sweetheart, came up. And I'm like, oh, what's this? And I listened to it and I'm like, this is amazing. This is an amazing song. I've never heard it outside of a random search that I did on Spotify so that I could play some patriotic music. And then when I got the chance to have my own show, I was like, I just really want this to be a part of it.
For that very reason, I bet that Ellie King knows that it's part of your intro, because at some point she's probably gotten a report. That song doesn't get played anywhere across the country.
No.
It gets played every day here 3 times. She probably has seen some report and seen, some show in the Midwest is using my song. So she's probably aware of it to some level.
It would be very cool if I remember when she just come to St. Louis like within the last year, because people were like, Annie, you got to be there. And I'm like, I don't really know that she would be like, yeah, girl, you take that song and use that on your concert.
Are you really her audience? Is she,
we don't know.
No.
Scheme of things. I mean, what other songs are there of hers even?
Oh, she's got some famous songs.
Okay.
She's got songs that you
X's and O's, is that her?
X's and O's.
Yeah.
You and me. Yeah. She's got some
song
songs
about
that
tic-tac-toe?
That's right.
Yes. I think that's exactly what it's about.
Yes, it's definitely clean.
Yeah. I just, I would want somebody like her to hear my show and be like, yeah, I don't know that this is the politics, but I like the way she presents herself. But I don't know that that's the way it is. What was it? Neil Young was complaining about Trump potentially using some of his songs at the Mount Rushmore event, which we haven't talked about yet, but I just adored every ounce of that. Shocker. I know. And what's you can't always get what you want?
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones. I've heard of them. Are they good? Just kidding. Kind of.
Depends.
Going back into Annie radio show history, I worked with KC for 10 years and would have probably gotten fired for that statement.
and has heard of the Rolling Stones. Impressive.
They're like the same as the Beatles, right? It's the same thing?
They're basically the same.
I mean, they shared songs and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. They did the exact same music.
I didn't work for KC, but 97.1 was sister stations with KC, and I am not literate in that language. Oh, my goodness. Not at all. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll hear from Stephen Moore. He's a visiting fellow at Heritage Foundation. He is on it when it comes to the economy. Hey, come watch us on Facebook Live, facebook.com/Annie Frey Show, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be back in a minute.
Decision 2020 is here at 971talk.com/election. Brought to you by Grasser Electric. Don't be left in the dark. Make the right call. Grasser Electric on 97.1 FM Talk.
The Retirement Advisory Group with Thomas Helbig is the go-to place for making sure that the retirement you've worked really crazy hard for, that it's going to be there the way you expect it to be after all of this time that you've saved. It's a kind of a precarious time in the economy. I certainly am no expert, but I have spent hours talking to Thomas Helbig about how he protects you and the 97.1 listener, and especially here on the Annie Frey Show, the Annie Frey Show listener. We're very grateful that he has partnered with us to allow us to come to you each day on the air. It's free to tune into the radio station, and Thomas Helbig is part of what makes that possible. But he is working with 97.1 listeners just in mass. And we have several clients that I work with who talk about how great you are because you prepare. You've saved, you've worked really hard, and he gets to partner with you to make sure it's completely secure. Get a free retirement review, 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Visit him online at retirementkey.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. I hope everyone had an amazing 4th of July and were able to spend time with their friends and family. With mortgage interest rates sitting near those all-time lows and home values at the highest levels we've ever seen, there's never been a better time for a refinance. How much money can we save you? Let's find out now. The 5-minute loan approval only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
If you have IRS issues, explore all your options. But before you send money to some out-of-town company, make a smart decision and call the Lance Drury Law Firm for a free confidential appointment. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Think about it. What will you do if you send thousands of dollars to an out-of-town company that doesn't resolve your issues, then stops returning your calls? You'd probably call a lawyer. Look, IRS issues are serious legal matters, and the Lance Drury Law Firm can often save you thousands if you call us. We're right here in St. Louis, and since we're a local law firm with an A-plus rating with the BBB, I've already helped hundreds of Missouri residents resolve payroll tax issues, wage levies, bank levies, and tax liens. So call me, a tax resolution attorney, Lance Drury at 314-238-7360, or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y law.com. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need the Lance Drury Law Firm.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
Electors bound to states' popular votes. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. The Supreme Court with a key ruling ahead of the November presidential election.
The Supreme Court upholding state laws requiring those chosen for the Electoral College to back the popular winner in their state's presidential race. A unanimous majority concluded states could sanction or remove so-called faithless electors who ignore the will of voters. State officials in Colorado and Washington had asked the court to settle the matter in case November's election proves close enough that a small number of faithless electors could determine the outcome. Justice Elena Kagan writing for the majority that electors have no ground for reversing the vote of millions of the state's citizens.
Fox's John Decker in Washington. A $10,000 reward now offered for information about at least two people who fired on a car and killed an 8-year-old girl in Atlanta over the weekend. Secoria Turner was in the car when the suspects opened fire. That shooting happened near the burned-down Wendy's restaurant where Rayshard Brooks, a black man, was killed by a white police officer last month. President Trump set to hold an outdoor campaign rally Saturday in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany telling Fox News the campaign will have measures in place to protect supporters from COVID-19.
The campaign has been very clear that not only will we be giving out masks, but we recommend the wearing of those masks. It's very important to follow the CDC guidelines.
Those attending the rally will have to sign waivers agreeing not to hold the campaign responsible for any coronavirus infections. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has turned down a White House invitation to celebrate the new regional free trade agreement in Washington with President Trump and Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. That meeting was scheduled for Wednesday. America is listening to Fox News.
Do not hire Franklin & Sons Electrical. The guy told me he'd shrink my monthly bill, and I'm like, dude, it's too small to read as it is.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then he's like, where's the circuit breaker? I'm like, bro, I didn't break anything.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial auto and business insurance.
He told me I had a blown fuse. It's called a short fuse, and yes, I do have one, so watch yourself.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Time's running out to win $7,000 a week for life from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $7,000 a week after week, for life. Don't miss your chance to win because $7,000 a week for life is ready to be awarded on August 31st. Go to PCH.com and enter before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter now at PCH.com. Entries due 8/26. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
What we see is what we get for really right through this upcoming weekend. It's all about summertime, partly sunny, hot and humid. Just a very, very slight chance of a spot thunderstorm this afternoon. Tough to find. 92 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy, hazy and humid. 80s this evening, 75 for the overnight low. Tuesday, do it again. Partly sunny, hot and humid. Just a slight chance of a spot thunderstorm. 92 in the afternoon on Tuesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Talked to a friend the other day who's getting ready to put his house on the market, and he had hired some painters to come over and paint the trim and do some other things, and he was having to get some of his siding replaced. And he looked at me and he goes, "Wait a minute, you had that Rhino Shield put on a few years ago, didn't you?" And I just smiled at him because I did. And I had it put on 12 years ago. And I don't have to worry about touching up anything because it looks as good today as it did the day they put it on. I couldn't be happier with this product. It's an exterior ceramic coating is what they call it. It looks beautiful like any paint job you might get. It just lasts for 25 years. It's fantastic. Call Darren. Let him come over and give you an estimate on this great product. He's honoring right now his 2019 pricing. So take advantage of that while you can. Get on the schedule, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
This is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Because of coronavirus, seminar now online, live with America's hypnotist Mark Patrick in the comfort and safety of your living room. Live online seminar for the greater St. Louis area will be held live Saturday, July 18th. Register now, only $49.99 guaranteed at markpatrickseminars.com.
Imagine two identical homes on the same street that sold in the same week for $400,000. One seller used a realtor who charged 7%. The other listed with Straight Realty for only 4%, saving $12,000. Hi, my name is Christina Straight with Straight Realty. Don't be fooled by high commissions. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. 314-441-all-4s.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, heard every Saturday morning at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Nearly every week, our team meets with clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and in some cases actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion on your retirement plan today. When you work with us at the ClearPath Wealth Management Group, we're committed to providing you with guidance that's in your best interest, no exceptions. To request your free consultation, contact us at bobstockdale.com. That's bobstockdale.com. Again, that's bobstockdale.com. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
From local leaders to national figures, they're talking here. Stay connected at 971talk.com or radio.com and stream the station anytime, anywhere. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
No, I think that the president is stepping forward, and we have Vice President Mike Pence that is spearheading the task force efforts on the coronavirus. And so understanding where this came from, how it developed, of course, the pushback that we got from the Democrats when the president did try to shut down travel from some of those hot spots, it was an extremely difficult environment to operate. And, you know, we know different today than we did at the beginning of the spread of the virus, and we should continually learn from those efforts and make sure that we are doing the right thing by moving our nation forward. Simple things, wearing a mask, making sure that we're washing our hands.
That's Senator Joni Ernst reacting to this administration's reopening of our country in the midst of taking the virus very seriously. So we will be faced with a lot of challenges going forward. How do we do both? I think we can do both. I think that if we don't do both, the other one will, if you only focus on the economy, if you only focus on coronavirus, you'll fail at both. We have to do both and look forward to a solution in each scenario. I'm looking at a Business Insider article right now, and it says the bullet points are: the White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said on Monday, today, that the White House could support another round of stimulus checks for Americans, and he also floated other measures that President Trump supported, such as the payroll tax cut. And somebody who has been talking about a payroll tax cut since February, March, way early on, is our Monday guest, Stephen Moore, visiting fellow at Heritage Foundation, and here with us again. Stephen, great to have you back on, and I'm curious how your advocacy for that payroll tax cut is going so far.
Hi, Annie. Good to be with you. I hope you had a great 4th of July weekend. By the way, I had a real thrill. I got to see the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds and all of that stuff here in D.C., and that was really cool. And one of the best celebrations I've seen for 4th of July in 30 years here. And of course, only half the country seems wants to celebrate our great country anymore, but that's another story. We are making progress on the payroll tax cut. I had a piece in the Wall Street Journal on Friday making the case that we could create almost 3 million jobs before the end of the year if we were to suspend the payroll tax, because it's a good deal for workers. It increases their paychecks by 7.5%. So everybody listening to the show would get a 7.5% raise in their paychecks. And it would also help employers hire more workers because their payroll costs would go down by 7.5%. So very positive thing. I know Donald Trump wants to do it. I know Larry Kudlow wants to do it. I know Steve Forbes wants to do it. I know Art Laffer wants to do it. We just have to get Nancy Pelosi on board, and that's not so easy. She wants to expand these unemployment benefits, which would be very negative. We estimate that if you did this 6-month extension of the unemployment benefits that's in the Pelosi bill, you would have 10 million fewer jobs. That's a lot. I mean, what's the population of Missouri? It's probably like 3 or 4 million. So, 10 million fewer jobs from doing the payroll tax. From extending those unemployment benefits.
We're speaking with Stephen Moore, visiting fellow at Heritage. I want to ask you about, you said you'd have to get Nancy Pelosi on board. Well, of course, that is a task in and of itself. But is there sensible Democrat support for something like this that maybe out in front, what we see and hear as just the simple folks in the middle of the country, that the political theater will kind of consume the Nancy Pelosi part of it? What about the rest of the Democrats who know that their constituents need help? And is there any support for that quietly in the background from Democrats?
The problem is, this is the biggest change I've seen in 30 years in D.C. is that, the left really has taken over the Democratic Party. It's the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez party. It's the Joe Biden party. It is the Nancy Pelosi party. They're hard leftists, and they right now all they care about. And maybe you think this is cynical, but I think I didn't used to believe this, but I think right now we're looking at Operation Chaos, where the left is trying to create mayhem and a sense of crisis and a sense of chaos, so that they can say, "Oh, Trump is the cause of the chaos," when of course they're the cause of the chaos. And the answer, unfortunately, it pains me to say this, Annie, is no. I can't point to a single Democrat who's willing to break with the radical left. Now, let me give you an example of that, if I may. My good friend, Senator Mike Lee of Utah, you probably saw this right before the 4th of July weekend break in the Senate, had a resolution condemning violence, and saying we should have peaceful protests, but not violent protests. And that not a single Democrat would stand up and agree with him on that.
Yeah.
We're on the phone with Stephen Moore.
Pathetic.
Yeah, absolutely. Visiting fellow at Heritage. Stephen, I'm hoping you can balance this for me. We had a great jobs report from June. We're looking forward to July, and two things kind of seem to be simultaneously happening in July. One is everybody's talking about cases, and people are getting a little bit more worried, wringing their hands a little bit over the economy and shutting things down. But simultaneously, the unemployment benefits are going to expire, and so that should send people back to work. Do you expect to see the momentum continue from June into July?
So those super unemployment benefits, those are the ones that I was just talking about, and right now they're scheduled to end at the end of July. So the next report we get will be the last report, hopefully, where we have these super unemployment benefits that encourage people. And by the way, I believe we would have had 1 million more jobs in June had it not been for the high unemployment benefits. And so I think we'll see, continued good numbers. And look, the media is not being forthright about what's happening with this virus. It's every indication is it's starting to burn itself out. We are seeing more caseloads. We're seeing more people who are testing positive, but far fewer of them, far fewer are getting sick. And the death rate, by the way, from the coronavirus, the daily death rate is down 92% from its high. Let me say that again, folks. The number of people who are dying from coronavirus is down 92% from its high point. Now, wouldn't you think that would be the headline? Yeah. I mean, that's an amazing thing.
It's good news.
90% reduction. And I read the New York Times yesterday, they have 2 front page stories about the surge in coronavirus. Now, one of them mentioned that death rates yesterday fell to, practically a record low.
Yeah. If it's good news, they're not going to report it because it's good news and it could possibly reflect well on President Trump. Joe Biden tweeted out yesterday evening about 7:00. He said, "We're going to beat Donald Trump. And when we do, we won't just rebuild this nation, we'll transform it." There are some challenges to what he means by that. What does a transformation mean? I know when President Obama was running for office, he campaigned on hope and change. That seems pretty arbitrary, but he also promised to fundamentally transform the United States of America. I kind of look at what's going on in our world right now, and I feel like maybe Obama was even more successful at that than we thought he could be. What does a Biden economy look like coming out of, if we were to enter that in January? What's the Biden alternative to Donald Trump?
Well, first of all, Joe Biden, when he came out of hiding for the first time last week and did a press conference, he said, not exactly, but he hinted at it, that if he were president, he would call for a national shutdown of the economy because the number of cases of coronavirus are growing. I'm like, well, he said, Trump opened up the economy too soon. Well, first of all, Trump actually didn't open the economy, it was governors, but let's say it was Trump. Is Joe Biden saying he'd like to go back and have 7.5 million more people in the unemployment lines? Because that's how many people we've put into jobs, Annie. 7.5 million people, and he's saying we shouldn't put these people into their jobs. I mean, I just don't understand the logic of that. Now, the Biden agenda, I'm so glad you asked this, is frightening. I mean, first of all, he wants to repeal virtually all of the Trump tax cut. I take that personally because I helped put that together for Trump. It was a phenomenal success. We had, I think I mentioned this last week, we had the lowest black unemployment rate in history in at least 50 years.
Did we lose him?
Property rate in the United States dropped to its lowest level in 40 years. We had the wage gains for workers that were the highest in 30 years. I mean, it was a booming economy in no small part because of our tax cut. And Biden wants to go back to the old tax regime, which, by the way, would encourage more companies to invest in places like China and Japan and Germany and not in the United States. You'd see jobs lost in places like Illinois and Missouri if we did that. And I don't understand the logic of it. We'd have tax rates of 50 or 60%. He wants reparation payments. Reparation payments is a crazy idea. I mean, to whom? Who's going to get reparations payments for something that happened 150 years ago? I mean, you could go on and on and on about this. You saw the story, and I hope you all saw the story front page on the Wall Street Journal, that the pipeline that we need so we can get our gas from Pennsylvania and Ohio to up into Boston and places like that, did you see the story that because of environmental radicals that are all Biden people, that project is going to be canceled? That's thousands of jobs for blue-collar workers. Plus, it's going to destroy the fracking industry in Pennsylvania and Ohio. Why would anybody in Pennsylvania and Ohio vote for Joe Biden?
It's a great question.
He's talking about destroying their best industry.
But, and the way you explain all those things, Joe Biden's right about one thing. He would have to we would lose who we are as a country in order for him to get those things through. I want to ask you this one question.
That's what he wants.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. When they talk about transformation, that's because they don't think America is a great country. I mean, the polling is very clear on this. 70 to 80 to 90% of conservatives believe that America's a great country. Less than half of liberals do. They don't like our country as it is. Now, look, I'm not saying we're flawless. We have many flaws in this country. But they don't believe we're the greatest country on earth. In fact, I saw a poll of young people. Young people think the United States is the most racist country in the world. We're not the most racist. We're the least racist country in the world. Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, immigrant Americans do better in the United States than they do anywhere else on the planet.
Yeah, that's just the facts about it. I want to ask you this question before we let you go here. Since you are an Illinois native, or you've lived here, Illinois policy is reporting that Illinois small businesses could see up to a 47% tax hike under Pritzker's fair tax system. And the Chicago Tribune reported this weekend that Governor J.B. Pritzker has contributed $51.5 million to committees seeking voter approval for the graduated rate income tax, the fair tax, as they call it, the progressive income tax.
So is, how much did you say? How much money?
$51.5 million that Pritzker has contributed to what Illinois Policy Institute says will affect a 47% tax hike on small busises in the state.
Yeah. Don't you wish you had been born with a silver spoon in your mouth? I really wish I had.
I've been looking for my silver spoon.
If I only had hundreds of millions of dollars I could just pass out like candy, boy, what a wonderful world it would be. I mean, this is a guy who literally, what's the old saying? He grew up on third base and he thinks he hit a triple. I mean, he is an incompetent politician. He's done more to ruin Illinois than just about any governor in modern times, even the governors that went to jail. And he is destroying the state of Illinois. I speak to people every single day because I am from Illinois and I love Chicago. It's my favorite city in the world, practically. And I hate to tell you this, but I'm a Cubs fan, not a Cardinals fan. But
that's all right. It's all right right now.
But I am absolutely sickened by this idea that we are going to somehow be able to resurrect the state of Illinois by raising taxes on small businesses. They say, well, it's all going to be paid by rich people. Folks, there aren't going to be any rich people left in the state of Illinois to tax. Anytime they talk about taxing rich people, Annie, guard your wallet.
Yeah. The definition of who is rich gets weaker and weaker, and it's pretty easy for these people some people to pick up their businesses and go across the state lines. We see that here in St. Louis, people going to Missouri. I'm sure it happens in Indiana and Wisconsin, across borders all over the place. Stephen, thank you so much for coming on with us. We always appreciate your insight. We always look forward to it.
Okay, guys, have a great week. I'll talk to you next week.
Yep, sounds great. Stephen Moore, visiting fellow at the Heritage Foundation. He's on Twitter at Stephen Moore. He's a PH Stephen, so you can go tweet him. Thanks for coming on the show. I always appreciate his insight here. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, at your reaction to this, we'll get Ryan's reaction to that as well. So you can watch us on Facebook at facebook.com/Andy Frey Show, and you can watch us on YouTube. Put us up on your smart TV. Pull up that YouTube app, type in Annie Frey, and our YouTube channel will come on there. You can subscribe to it and follow along. It's fun. We enjoy having the conversation with you as much as anybody else. Stick around. We'll be right back.
I said, hey. I said, oh. I said, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho. There she goes, there she goes, goes. My goodbye, baby.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
The prettiest thing that I have seen. Blew me away, now I need a fee.
Hey guys, Glover here. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the DGS.
Stewart's American Mortgage has been home to the bagel loan. You guys know him as the bagel guy, Stewie. He's my friend, and I refied with him in October of 2019, and I'm super grateful for the opportunity to have done that. And I'm also seeing the rates have gone down significantly even since then. And so I'm asking him, you tell me, he knows what my situation is since I've worked with him. tell me if it's time for me to do this again, because with the bagel loan, you don't pay the fees that make it sometimes punitive to go through and refi your mortgage. If you have a rate right now, a mortgage rate that's in the 4s, you have put it off way too long already. You need to get a hold of Stewie, and here's his number, 314-324-4440. It's 314-324-4440. You can call him, you could text him, mention you heard about him on the Andy Frey Show, and he will set you up. He's also got the Bank Buster loan with rates being at or even potentially under 3%. Don't put it off any longer, folks. You will save a ton of money over time. Stewart'sAMC.com. You can Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at ARCA, Assisted Recovery Centers of America. So alcohol and opioid addiction is a huge problem in America, as you know. And with the coronavirus, it's become even worse. Just know that there is help right here in our community. Call ARCA at 314-645-6840 or visit arcamidwest.com. Everything is professional, everything is compassionate, and everything is private. That's arcamidwest.com for help.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station for many years as the financial expert. Trust and results are the two biggest factors in an advisor, and this is why Doug is so successful. So listen to Safe Money Radio 7 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk. He can see you at the office with plenty of distancing, of course. He can do a virtual call, 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Time's running out to win $7,000 a week for life from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $7,000 a week after week, for life. Don't miss your chance to win, because $7,000 a week for life is ready to be awarded on August 31st. Go to PCH.com and enter before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter now at PCH.com. Entries due 8/26. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company helps you customize your home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Unlike things you paid for you didn't need, like that much-needed 125-inch flat-screen TV.
It's hurting my eyes a lot.
For your 100-square-foot bedroom.
My neck isn't so much stiff as it's completely stuck.
With Liberty Mutual, get customized home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Uh-oh, I'm seeing color splotches.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
It's one thing to be stuck in your house due to COVID-19. It's another thing to be stuck with a house. We have good news for homeowners listening throughout St. Louis. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis is still buying houses. More importantly, we offer sellers a completely virtual selling process that maintains social distancing standards. Sell your home now. Call Chris today and get a cash offer in just 7 minutes. Call 314-782-7000. Can't collect rent? Not a problem. We buy My Tenant Won't Pay Me the Rent houses as well as vacant houses. We buy houses as is and deal with any situation. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call Chris today and get your house sold. 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000. 314-782-7000.
Get a bird's eye view of your commute. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas in the morning and afternoon. Driven by Ambassador Floor Company with 100% employee installation. Experience more with Ambassador Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Ryan, stop it.
I will not stop. I will never stop until the whole world knows this song. I'm just lip syncing though. I should sing it.
You can now. You're on. Go for it. Here it is.
Baby, let me tell you,
okay. I don't even know.
You gotta know the words if you're gonna sing it. You're not lip syncing anything if you don't know the
Kiss
words.
from a Rose. I do know those words.
Man, Seal is so good. Where'd he go?
I
He's
think
married
he's still
to Heidi
around.
Klum,
I
and
don't
then he
think
wasn't.
Yep. I haven't heard much new music from Seal these days.
Frank, what do you know about
If he's
Seal?
married to Heidi Klum, he's not leaving the house.
I
mean, why would you?
He's not anymore. They're
Oh, he's not?
I don't think so.
Well, then what the hell is he doing?
I don't
it's
know.
quarantine.
That's the question.
Yeah, it's quarantine, so he's staying inside for now.
Quarantine with Heidi Klum.
Does he have old pictures of Heidi that he can talk to at least?
I haven't asked him.
I don't know.
thought
I'd
you
watch that
knew.
movie though.
I thought you knew. Man,
Is
Katie.
he hiding out in her bushes like Ryan did for the pool party?
We wouldn't know unless he had video.
Man,
Oh, the
weird.
song's gone.
Where's Katie? Leave it. Let's move on. I gotta say, I started the show here with talking about Leslie Marshall's comments on the protesters. They're bad apples with guns who are deflecting from the actual message that the protesters are sharing, and her indication that there are some bad apples that exist that are causing the purpose and the goodness, that's not a word, but it is right now, of what the protesters are trying to bring and shed a light on. And I said, you know what? I hear that. I can hear you on that. I want to have the same respect for the police officers that are out there right now that know that what this officer Chauvin did to George Floyd was wrong. And when they say that the term bad apple is the one that is used the most, saying that we've got bad people who are police officers, that doesn't make police officers bad people. And we need to be able to have both of those conversations intellectually. I shared that on Twitter, on my Twitter feed at Andy Frey Show. And I tagged Leslie Marshall in it. And I said, I agree with her, but now can we please have the same conversation about police officers? And she just replied back to me on Twitter and said, thank you, Andy Frey Show. So I think that's cool.
Well, that is cool.
She's a Democrat radio show host who was on Outnumbered today. And we seem to have agreed on something. It's that easy, folks. It's really that easy. I don't know if she listened to the clip. She might listen to it later and be like, about that. Let me delete that. What'd you guys do to celebrate the 4th?
We watched some fireworks. We went to Alhambra to the Fireman's Park.
Alhambra.
Yes,
yeah,
we did.
I love Alhambra, and if you don't know Alhambra, then you just don't know. But we saw on. I'm glad you brought this up because you can give us the real straight from the actual event facts. We saw somewhere it said that fireworks were taking place between 8 and 10 p.m. And we wondered if that meant that you just bring your fireworks to Alhambra and shoot them off between 8 and 10, and that was the show.
I can confirm that there were a lot of fireworks just in the parking lot. And by parking lot,
Hey,
I
look
mean
over
field.
here. I'm shooting mine off now.
My turn.
Yeah.
Oh, I got mine.
There was an ice
I
cream
like that
man
idea.
driving through the fields selling ice cream, which was really cool. But then
Goodness,
there
it
was a
wasn't
truck.
muddy.
It was a little bit muddy if
Oh,
you got
good.
into the low areas. But there was a truck next to us full of teenagers shooting off some fireworks. It was fine, but they shot one, I think, into the ice cream van accidentally. I mean, they're aiming them up, but they never always go up. So that
You
was
got to expect them not to.
right. And so they were
Well, they're
very
teenagers. Come on.
Yeah. You kind of expect they're going to do something stupid at some point, but
and stupid prizes. So
They did.
was it good though?
the display was awesome. The night was really nice. I say this without a hint of irony in my voice. I'm never more happy than sitting there watching fireworks. And sometimes it happens on Memorial Day, sometimes mainly on July 4th, with my kids on my lap. It's the most
It's
wonderful
America.
feeling in the world. It's
It sounds hokey, and it kind of is, but it is something that makes you proud to be in the moment, in the very obscure, non-magnificent location that you're in on any other given day, when you're sitting in a field and you're watching explosions in the air, and it's because it's who you're with that makes it special. We spent our was it 4th of July? I guess it was. Because I don't know if y'all have had the same experience, but fireworks have not been confined to the evening of July 4th.
Oh, especially this year.
Much to the dismay of pet owners everywhere. And I kind of get annoyed at the bah humbugness of people who are like, stop shooting off damn fireworks, they're making my puppy cry. Okay, I do get it, and I know that there's a lot of that And I'm almost like, it'll be over soon. But then at the same time, they've been going off for weeks. So I go back and forth on the, it's not a big deal, get over it, to the, okay, I've had enough. But I grew up in the country, so to speak, and we have a magnificent view in my childhood home of the western horizon. It is below the bluffs. If you're familiar with the Illinois side of the river, the bluffs exist along kind of like 157. If you're familiar with Highway 157 runs north to south on the bottom of the bluffs. And the bluffs were created long time ago by the Mississippi River Basin. So there is a hill in this portion of southern Illinois that you go up. That's about it. But when you live right below the bluffs and you can see as far as the eye can see, when I was growing up, I used to be able to see the St. Louis Arch from my front yard. The trees have sadly now grown tall enough that you can't see it, but you could still see when I was growing up the VP Fair fireworks that were being shot off over the Mississippi River from the St. Louis Arch. But you could also see all the way up to Alton, potentially Godfrey, Granite City, Pontoon Beach, all these areas, Wood River, anywhere, Roxana, that would be shooting off any semblance of fireworks. You could sit at the end of the driveway and just see north to south all these different, and 9 o'clock is usually a sweet spot. Stuff usually starts happening at 9 o'clock. But of course, much like you were saying, Ryan, it's like people are just kind of shooting them off for country folks. And I was at my parents' again this weekend, and I found myself sitting as, a grown woman, crisscross applesauce, which is the way you say what we grew up saying Indian style. Now you say crisscross applesauce. And I'm like, okay, that's a fair improvement. Cross-legged at the end of the driveway with my youngest daughter and a few of my nephews and my husband. And we were just sitting here and like the kids, you couldn't even hear these fireworks. They were far enough off that you wouldn't hear the boom, or when it's really awesome and you feel it in your chest when they explode. You couldn't hear any of that. But you'd see one off in the distance and their eyes just light up. This is so exciting for them to see these explosions. And you're sitting here and you're just free. You're free to experience this. It's not special, but because it's not special, it is special. It's just a Saturday night in the United States of America. That's a fantastic thing. And when you get to share it with people, that makes it even sweeter. So, it was awesome for me to be able to do kind of something that I had done when I was a little girl, and to be able to repeat that in that moment with the next generation of people in my family, including my own kiddos. It was kind of like you said, there's just something unique and special about it. And that's not to say that there isn't like pride of country in any of these other countries, but we are still an extremely young country. And we kind of had an idea and we went with it. And it's, just like when you are a teenager and you're going in, maybe you graduate high school and you go into college, you do a lot of dumb things along the way. You probably do some wrong things along the way, but you use all of the experience that you have as a youth and you pour it into something that eventually becomes something productive for society. And you have to constantly have this idea of, I'm going to try, and even if I fail, I'm going to try again. That's extremely American. And it's something to be proud of. And as a country, I think we're very much the same. We have done things in the past that we learned from other people that were wrong, and we repeated things that were wrong. And we had the bravery and the fortitude to correct a lot of the things that have happened in our country and move in the correct direction. And I would add, it still exists in our past, and we still have to actively work to correct it each day going into our future. And it's our responsibility to teach our kids that. I got to say one thing real quick, Ryan, before I let you react here. My 4-year-old daughter was in the room with me when some news channel was on and I was watching some news, and somebody said something about Black people. And my 4-year-old daughter looked at me and she goes, "What are Black people?" And it made me sit back in my chair. My 4-year-old daughter doesn't know what Black people are. And, then I have to say, like, how do I have that conversation? Do I start pointing out Black people? And then I have now introduced to her a difference in skin color. And the way I explained it to her is, I showed her pictures of some important people in my life and in my husband's life who happened to be Black. And I showed her pictures of people who had different skin color. And then I said, and you see here, here's, your Aunt Katie, she's got brown hair and your mom has gray hair. And, your grandma has white hair and Ryan Wiggins has no hair. And you just start going through all the differences in people and their hair color. And I'm like, would we ever treat somebody who has blonde hair differently than we treat and has red hair? And they look at you like, why in the world would you do that? What kind of terrible person would do that? That's the lesson. And, I'm asking myself, am I teaching them how, like, at the same time, am I teaching them how not to be racist? Am I teaching them how to be racist? Am I teaching them how to discriminate between two people? Because now I'm showing them that people are different. And I think that the answer to this is showing that we have beauty in our differences. And the fact that we are different makes us stronger and makes us better. But when your 4-year-old asks you what a Black person is, knowing that they are living their life with Black people in their life on a regular basis, on a daily basis, and they don't understand what that is, should your heart be warmed by that? Should I be concerned by that? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
I think the answer is you should be happy about that, because that means you're not pointing it out as if it's important what somebody's skin color is. Because we had the same issue probably when our kids were about 4, maybe 5. They asked the question too, like, oh, what does it mean when I hear somebody is, I don't even think we had the discussion about Black and white. It was like, what does the word Latino mean? Or words that we use to describe people from different countries or different backgrounds. We just walked through similar to the way that you did it. And I think that's a great point of pride. That means that you're not in church pointing out, well, there are the people who are different from us in church or school or wherever. Everybody's just people and they don't care. That's a terrific thing.
Yeah. And like I said, like, I'm trying not to be like, I have a Black friend, like we have people who we see on a daily basis without being too specific who are Black. We have people who we are seeing on a daily basis who are not white, and it does not occur to my children that means anything. And really, it's no different than having different hair color or different eye color. There's a famous study that was a 2nd grade teacher. I remember watching this in my psychology class in college, and she did a lesson with 2nd graders on treating kids differently because they had different eye colors. And then they went back and had the conversation 20 years later with these kids who had grown from 2nd grade into being adults, and like the impact that had on them. I don't know. Here's the bottom line for me, folks. We need to educate our kids. They need to know, and they need to learn these lessons at home. I am not interested in turning over the responsibility of this type of education to a school, to an education system. It needs to be learned at home. Maybe it's reinforced at school, but the lesson has to start at home. If we reinvest our efforts into building our families, I think we will solve so many problems downstream. I want to take a quick break because I want to talk to our next guest is the Chief Executive Officer of the Lutheran Elementary School Association. I am a product of Lutheran education. I send my children to one of the finest Lutheran schools in the Metro East in Collinsville. Very, very grateful for Lutheran education in my life. And I want to talk to her about the latest Supreme Court decision that lifted the ban on state aid to religious schooling. So many people are discussing right now alternatives to public school, and we're going to talk to Sue when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, A light hits the gloom on the way.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get in your comfort zone with Carrier Cool Cash rebates, $50 to $1,650 plus 0% financing plus double utility rebates on a new HVAC system. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Mark Cox here. Guys, let Victory Men's Health help you regain your vitality by optimizing your hormones, vitamins, and sexual health. Victory Men's Health has the most cutting-edge technologies to treat ED. They have wave therapy. Listen, this is the biggest advancement for men with ED since the launch of Viagra. That's pretty incredible. They do the treatments in their office. Victory Men's Health offers wave therapy in both their Illinois and Missouri location. Check them out online today at victorymenshealth.com.
Flooring is so transformational in your home. So if you've got some dingy flooring in your house, maybe you don't even really pay attention to the floor in your home, and you've been thinking about doing a remodel. I want you to consider how much different some beautiful flooring from Michael's Flooring Outlet would help transform that home. I want you to think about putting in some luxury vinyl plank instead of the hardwood that maybe exists in your home. I have hardwood floors in the main floor of my house, and they show a lot of wear and tear. They did when we moved into the house, and we just haven't replaced them yet. Luxury vinyl plank is a great way to go, where you get flooring that looks just stunningly beautiful, but it kind of lives up to the life you're going to live on it. You can also ask at Michael's Flooring Outlet about any of their Mohawk, Smart Strand, Forever Clean, Aero, Revwood Plus flooring, their waterproof flooring. They can really, really set you up with something that is going to fit your lifestyle and be absolutely beautiful in the process. In St. Charles County, West County, and Darden Prairie, online at michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
This is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate in the Metro East. We sell a house every 30 hours. Buying a home is a big decision and a big investment. It's where your child will take their first steps. It's where you will plant your first garden. It's where your family will enjoy Christmas mornings. Your new home is a place to go to escape the world. It's your home, and your memories start here. Let us help you get there. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
The Dave Glover Show.
Nick and I took Phoebe to a tennis lesson, and then I say this sentence in this exact way. My daughter seems to lack my aggression.
Weekdays at 3 on 97.1 FM Talk.
I remember the days of just keeping time, of hanging around in sleepy towns.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
We'd go together like a wink and a smile.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy to be with you. Thank you for watching us live on our YouTube page. You can go to Annie Frey on YouTube, Frey. Subscribe to the channel. There's a little bell there. If you click it, you'll get notified when we go live, and you can watch us on your smart TV, which is kind of fun. You can also comment along when we have great guests on the show, watching both on YouTube and on our Facebook page. Like Sue Nominson, who joins us now. She's the Chief Executive Officer of the Lutheran Elementary School Association, LESA-STL.org. That's LEA or LESA-STL.org. I am probably over emphatic about Lutheran education. Holy Cross Lutheran Collinsville is a great near and dear location to my heart, and Good Shepherd in Collinsville as well, where I have my kids and my nephews also go to those different schools. And so as a product of Lutheran education myself, anytime there's an opportunity to talk about school choice or the alternative to public education, I want to take that opportunity. So Sue, thank you so much for coming on the show with us. It's great to have you here.
Oh, Annie, thank you. It's great to be back. Love talking with you and listening to what your listeners have to say about really important topics.
Well, one of those
Like
important
this one.
topics, the Supreme Court has lifted the ban on state aid to religious schooling. And from what I understand, you understand this issue pretty well. I want to give you the opportunity to kind of explain the importance of what we learned here last week from the Supreme Court.
Well, I'll tell you, it was such a joy to see the ruling of the Supreme Court and how it overturned the previous Supreme Court ruling in the state of Montana on the Espinosa case. This is huge for private education, particularly parochial, and of course, in our world, as important as Lutheran education is to us, it's huge. I think we have to be careful as we look at this Supreme Court ruling. It opens the door for so many changes, Annie. As much as we want to say, yes, we finally have beaten this stigma and this bias against faith-based schools, I think we have to be careful now to see how individual states respond to that. There are quite a few that still have the Blaine Amendment, which prohibits public funding going to our faith-based schools. And it'll be interesting to see how these different states will interpret this ruling. But basically, and I don't know if you've chatted with your listeners prior to me joining here today, I have to apologize. I have family in town.
That's okay.
But we have, this ruling does not allow states to exclude a school just because of its religious status from receiving public funding. And that is a huge step in the right direction. For parents, my goodness, this opens up a lot of opportunities now for families to test, if you will, these rulings and for different, under the state domain with opportunities then, for opening up vouchers and things of that nature that in some states are still limited because of a school's faith-based status. So no, we're just absolutely thrilled. This is a step in the right direction for Lutheran education, all parochial education, and most importantly for our families to have the right to choose a Lutheran or any other faith-based school for their kids. We firmly believe that our parents are the best judge of what's right for their kids. And the one-size-fits-all public system, which has, I will admittedly say, served many well, for us over a century, isn't necessarily what we need to be looking at for our children today.
Yeah.
Especially with all the changes that will be happening in the lifetimes of our children. We're educating kids today for possible vocations and employment opportunities that we can't even fathom today. And we need that opportunity. And many of our faith-based schools give kids that opportunity. I think it's awesome because, our faith-based schools have been delivering quality academics for years. And, this ruling almost recognizes that our faith-based schools are quality educational places as well. And I think it has so many different facets to it, Annie. I don't know what your interpretation is, but I just feel like this has just opened things wide open, and now it'll be interesting to see how things move forward.
Sue, this is Ryan Wiggins. I wanted to ask you this question. You're CEO of Lutheran Elementary School Association, so I know you have a lot to deal with now in light of this ruling. Is there anything that immediately is going to happen because of this Supreme Court decision? And is there anything that you're looking down the road, maybe in a few years, 5, even 10 years, that could happen because of this?
Well, we have always been an advocate for parental choice. And this ruling now just puts so much more weight behind anything that our organization, any of our board members, any organizations, and there are very few that are similar in the Lutheran community to what we have here in St. Louis with Lisa. There are just a handful across the nation. But this really does give our faith-based school systems the opportunity to get behind this school choice movement and really push that forward. Our organization does not receive any public funding, nor will we because of this ruling. We are a resource to the 34 member schools that we serve in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river. And as such, and not being a school and enrolling students, we won't see any direct benefit from this. But boy, our families sure will. And ultimately, their benefit in the coming years then will allow us then to take our resources and impact more children and just be certainly much more impactful and intentional with the resources that we've been blessed with from our great donors and event guests.
I want to ask you a question here real quick before we have to wrap up. We're speaking with Sue Nominson, the CEO of Lutheran Elementary School Association. As I said, I'm a product of Lutheran education. I hold that very near and dear to my heart. There are so many Lutheran schools in the area, on both sides of the river, in Missouri and in Illinois. And I want to ask you, for people who right now are looking at alternatives to public school, and I think there are more people right now looking than have ever before with a lot of the rules and restrictions. I know specifically in the state of Illinois, things that have been passed recently, education that is going to be mandated in the state of Illinois regarding different kinds of history that are going to be taught, and the way that people are reacting to the COVID restrictions, that people are just considering alternatives. Tell me quickly, if you can, what kind of availability there is right now and affordability, because I think people hear private school and they think there's no way I could ever afford that in Lutheran education at this moment.
And many do. And you know, Annie, absolutely, there's that misconception that even our parochial schools are, which they are privatized, of course they're private schools, but that they're only serving children who are from affluent families, and that is completely opposite. Our schools serve a very diverse group of children, from a significant number who live at or below the federal poverty level to families who are affluent and, of course, can pay the full tuition. This ruling will help our schools in years to come, as, again, we see how this all unfolds on the state-by-state basis. But that will then allow our parochial schools, hopefully, to have opportunities to serve many children that would be served through the voucher type systems that we've seen in many other states. You know, families that can't make that complete sacrifice to send their kids to parochial schools, that just need that little bit of help. And boy, if we could get school choice passed in the state of Missouri and the state of Illinois, and I know that Illinois has the scholarship program, tax credit program there as well.
Yes.
Which we have not been able to get passed here in Missouri. But my goodness, the opportunities for education and parental choice for the best type of schooling for their kids is just unsurpassed. I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like it yet.
Well,
not
Sue,
in our lifetimes.
Yeah, Sue, I want to thank you for talking to us about this Supreme Court ruling and about promoting Lutheran education. We are very grateful to be able to have you on here, and we look forward to discussing it again soon.
Oh, thanks, Annie, so very much. And blessings to you and your team, and to all those families who are interested in Lutheran education. I encourage you to reach out to your local Lutheran school, take a visit, and we partner with them. And there are a great group of people both at that congregational level and within the Lisa family who want kids to be able to attend our Lutheran schools. So
thank you. Thank you so much, Sue. We'll talk to you again soon. I want people to go to lisastl.org, LESASTL.org, and check it out. Like I said, a free plug here for Good Shepherd Lutheran in Collinsville and Holy Cross Lutheran in Collinsville and Metro East Lutheran. That's where I went to high school. These are fantastic schools in the Metro East. Check them out. Much more affordable than you think, and a great alternative to Illinois Public School. We'll be back in a minute.
Leave your old... Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Because of coronavirus, seminar now online, live with America's hypnotist, Mark Patrick. Live online seminar for the greater St. Louis area, Saturday, July 18th. Register now, only $49.99 guaranteed at markpatrickseminars.com.
Technology is great until it doesn't work. Arcadia Valley Communications can make technology for your business great again, or even better. Arcadia Valley Communications can assist you with all your cloud, VoIP, Wi-Fi, and fiber optic needs. Arcadia Valley has over 50 years combined experience to give you the best possible service at prices that beat their competition. Call Ron Elkins at Arcadia Valley Communications for a free technology analysis for your home or business. ArcadiaValleyCommunications.com.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times with this social distancing, face mask wearing, staying at home world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. Hope that your retirement plans don't take a backseat. You've watched the market drop and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments and find out how you may be able to save big on taxes while the market is down. Find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call the team today to set up a meeting, 314-373-1598, Compass Retirement Solutions, 314-373-1598. And for more on retirement planning, listen to Rethinking Retirement, Saturdays at 8 and 4 and Sundays at 11. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Compass Retirement Solutions does not provide tax advice.
As temperatures heat up, so are the savings. During our Legacy Box Cyber Summer Sale, we're offering 50% off. Legacy Box is the best way to preserve your home movies and photos.
Legacy Box is one of the most meaningful things you can do for your family. Plus, we've made it simple and safe, and it's currently on sale.
Legacy Box is an all-in-one mailed kit to having your aging media converted to digital. Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film reels, and photos.
Our staff of over 250 professionals digitize everything by hand right here in the United States. In a few weeks, you get everything back on DVD or digital, ready to watch and enjoy.
We've helped over 850,000 families relive their glory days. Get started today rescuing your trapped videotapes and photos.
Shop our Cyber Summer Sale to save 50% off today. Buy now and save big, and send in your media when you're ready. Visit legacybox.com/gift. That's legacybox.com/gift for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/gift.
Hi, George Weber. Check out my alter ego, Skip Weber, every Saturday night, 9 to 11, the Saturday Evening Rock Show, the greatest rock and roll show on a talk station in the world. Don't miss
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
The nation's high court with a robocall ruling. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. A federal ban on unwanted calls upheld today by the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court upheld a 1991 law prohibiting robocalls to cell phones. A group of political consultants and pollsters challenged the law, arguing an exception made in 2015 allowing automated calls for government debt collection violated free speech rights since other robocalls were not allowed. In a split opinion, the court's majority tossed out the debt collection exception and upheld the broader robocall ban.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. The Supreme Court today ruling unanimously that states can require presidential electors to back their state's popular vote winner in the Electoral College. That ruling leaves in place laws in 32 states and the District of Columbia binding electors to the popular vote. More than 36 states are continuing to see a dramatic rise in coronavirus cases and hospitalizations. While the U.S. has seen the highest number of cases and deaths, White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany says the country is doing well.
When you look at the mortality rates across the world, we are far below Italy. We're below Germany. We're below France. And it's because of the great work we've put in. This president takes COVID seriously.
U.S. coronavirus deaths are about to surpass 130,000 with nearly 2.9 million confirmed cases. Florida's most populous county ordered restaurants and gyms closed again today because of a rise in confirmed coronavirus cases and hospitalizations. The mayor of Miami-Dade County issuing an emergency order closing restaurants and other indoor facilities 7 weeks after allowing them to reopen. 3 of the nation's top medical organizations issuing a plea today urging Americans to wear masks to help stop what they describe as the worst public health crisis in generations. America is listening to Fox News.
Bria's fashion boutique is the worst. First, they asked me if I needed help finding anything. Just because I'm gorgeous doesn't mean I need help.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then they tell me they're having a sale. Oh, so you're assuming I'm poor. Cool.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Also, they tried to give me the friends and family discount. I'm not your friend, so...
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Time's running out to win $7,000 a week for life from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $7,000 a week after week, for life. Don't miss your chance to win because $7,000 a week for life is ready to be awarded on August 31st. Go to PCH.com and enter before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter now at PCH.com. Entries due 8/26. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
What we see is what we get for really right through this upcoming weekend. It's all about summertime, partly sunny, hot and humid. Just a very, very slight chance of a spot thunderstorm this afternoon. Tough to find. 92 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy, hazy and humid. 80s this evening, 75 for the overnight low. Tuesday, do it again. Partly sunny, hot and humid. Just a slight chance of a spot thunderstorm. 92 in the afternoon on Tuesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a right fit for you. And check out the podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane.
Time's running out to win $7,000 a week for life from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $7,000 a week after week, for life. Don't miss your chance to win, because $7,000 a week for life is ready to be awarded on August 31st. Go to PCH.com and enter before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter now at PCH.com. Entries due 8/26. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company helps you customize your home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Unlike things you paid for you didn't need, like that much-needed 125-inch flat-screen TV.
It's hurting my eyes a lot.
For your 100-square-foot bedroom.
My neck isn't so much stiff as it's completely stuck.
With Liberty Mutual, get customized home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Uh-oh, I'm seeing color splotches.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
Home truly is your place of trust. Protect your investment with a free remote estimate from CertaPro Painters. Show us what you'd like painted from the safety and comfort of your own home. We'll ask some questions and add some expert advice. Then we'll provide a detailed estimate so you know exactly what you're getting and what happens next. It's all quick, safe, and easy. Whatever painting project you have in mind, your local neighborhood CertaPro Painters will do the job right. Start your remote or on-site estimate today at CertaPro.com. Proven and trusted experts in painting.
When you need care, healthcare, and you need it fast, and you're not facing a life-threatening situation, you go to urgent care. Urgent care, I guess, it seems as though it's still relatively a new concept. And so people maybe aren't as understanding about what it is. First of all, if you have an urgent care need that, like I said, is not life-threatening, and you go to an urgent care facility, you are going to pay significantly less money than the fees that come along with using an emergency room. However, if you go to urgent specialists, which is a special kind of urgent care, you are going to get more of the care that you need, and you're not going to have to go on that wild goose chase afterwards, trying to find the specialist that's going to help you with your ENT problem, or trying to find the specialist that's going to help you with an orthopedic and ophthalmology issue. They have those on call, ready for you, waiting for you at urgent specialists. They're located at Manchester, just east of Highway 141. I want you to check them out online at urgentspecialist.com so that you know about them now and you kind of have a good idea of where they're located so that you can get to them fast when you need that special urgent care at Urgent Specialist. Visit them online at urgentspecialist.com.
You can stream 97.1 FM Talk anytime. Visit radio.com or download the radio.com app for your phone so you can punch a button and be tuned in to 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
But the larger narrative I'm talking about is this. There's an effort to go after the icons of American history in general. This includes Ulysses Grant. This includes Abraham Lincoln, the Catholic saint who built the California missions, the effort to take down Mount Rushmore. I think this is actually an abuse of history, a distortion of history, and ultimately an insult to people like me who've come as immigrants to America. We've fallen in love with the American flag and American exceptionalism, and we now see the left trying to tear it down.
Dinesh D'Souza speaking about the unrest that we are experiencing right now in our country, and I think he does a really great job of bringing a voice into the conversation that is not as easy to argue with because of his past. He is an immigrant to here, and he loves this country, and he has definitely put effort behind his voice to explain that to people. I've watched Death of a Nation this past weekend, I think it was, or maybe it was Thursday night. I don't remember last time I watched it, but it was this within the last week. And every time I watch it, I'm reminded about why we are a great country. So if you have come off of a weekend of celebrating the birthday of the United States, I'm happy that you were able to do that. And it makes me sad that there is a portion of this country that doesn't feel like this is a country to be celebrated, because I feel like they're missing something. I feel like there's something great about what we have here that they are missing. And I don't know what the solution is to get the two ends of this rope together to tie in a knot so that we can be stronger because of it. But, the controversy abounds. I want to get our next guest on. Congressman Rodney Davis joins us. And what is a Congressman Rodney Davis spot on the show without a little Nickelback? Rodney, thanks for coming on with us today. Good to talk to you.
Hey. Thank you. I thought you were going to forget my bumper music.
I wouldn't. I had a whole conversation with Frank, who's filling in for Katie today, about it. And we made sure that we had the Nickelback ready to fire. Did you celebrate your country this weekend? Did you feel as though there was a reason to celebrate this weekend?
You know what I did? I protested the attack on America's history, so I wouldn't ever have a chance at getting COVID.
There you go. Does that drive you crazy as somebody who is supposed to be trying to help push this country forward economically, as we do still, take the necessary precautions in order to get back out and get everything going? Does it drive you crazy to see the grandstanding on what needs to be done and how we need to take it seriously, and then just the complete and total blinders to the other mass gatherings of individuals in this country who are doing it for a Democrat, you would think, purpose?
Yeah, it's very frustrating, and really, I think the American people see through it, Annie. I know the folks that I represent, and the folks, you're in my district, so you see it down in the southwestern part of my district. They get frustrated by the lack of consistency. Look, we want everybody to take precautions. I walked a parade on the 4th of July. I made sure everybody in my team wore a mask. Everybody did their best to socially distance, even from each other walking next to them. Sometimes it worked, other times it didn't. But we took the precautions because we're utilizing the best guidance that we're getting right now. But to say that mass gatherings can take place if you have a certain political interest and you're okay, no matter if you're screaming at law enforcement without a mask, and you'll never catch COVID. But in the end, if you go to a rally of another political party, somehow you're going to become a super spreader. That's what frustrates so many Americans. All we want is consistency. Everybody's going to do what they're asked to do as long as the guidance is there. And then, as Dinesh D'Souza said, the attack on American history, it's really heartbreaking to see so many good people that were memorialized with statues having their likenesses torn down by people who clearly did not get educated on the historical impact they had to our country on abolishing the ills of our ancestors.
Congressman Rodney Davis on the phone with us from Illinois' 13th District. Congressman, we keep hearing the call, where are the Republicans at right now? Why don't we have conservative leadership standing up in the middle of this culture war and laying the groundwork for why the conservative cause is right? So I lay that question before you as a person who's in Congress. You're seeing Congress from the inside, and we don't get to do that. What are you seeing from your colleagues right now?
I see exactly what I just said. And I've been saying this in the media. I've been saying this every time I've been asked about it. There's a problem we have within conservative circles where you don't get enough. I mean, I look, part of the biggest problem we had in the 2018 election was Republicans thought we didn't work with the president enough. And those who supported the president in 2016 was the first time they voted. Many of them didn't go vote. And what happened? We lost the majority. So splitting the Republicans and splitting the conservatives by saying we don't do enough, I think is frustrating, because I see a lot of people expressing the same types of debates and arguments that I just expressed. And I certainly hope you agreed with them, or I certainly hope you thought they at least made sense. Whether or not you agree with them, that's your prerogative. But we're out there fighting. We're going to continue to fight, which is why I come on shows like yours.
Well, we appreciate that. We certainly get a lot of positive feedback when you are on with us. So we are grateful to be able to speak with anybody who's a member of Congress, but especially when you are my representative. I particularly enjoy that. I want to ask you about your vibe about November, because I hear these two words quite a bit: silent majority. Well, that kind of scares me. I wish maybe the silent majority would just be the majority. I wish there was a way that we could have a stronger voice. And I think that there is a way, just trying to figure out how to make that happen. But also the constant drumbeat that we see in the mainstream media, but also in some of the more conservative leaning media outlets, talking about how President Trump is trailing in the polls. 2016, if you look at 2016 and you look at polls, well, we all know how that story turned out, except for Hillary. She still hasn't figured that out yet. But when you are looking at forward to November, do you have confidence that America is going to make a decision here that is going to continue to be invested in freedom and liberty, and not protectionism and a surrendering of your liberty for security that Joe Biden's going to promise?
I do. I think when Vice President Biden comes out and begins campaigning, and you begin to get that contrast between the president and the former vice president, well, I mean, the longer the news media can put a political litmus test on what political issue can get you COVID if you go out and gather versus another one that doesn't, then the longer he's going to stay inside and not come out there. But the more he's out there, there's going to be a contrast. But during that time, if we continue to see local leaders like in Seattle and Portland, every single night in Portland, that gets no coverage from the mainstream media, of attacks on federal buildings, lawlessness, when that happens, I think a lot of people who may not personally like what the president tweets, and I thought the Bubba Wallace tweet today was completely wrong and he shouldn't have done it. But the sheer fact that they're worried about what's happening with kids getting killed in some of our major cities right now because law enforcement is taxed with dealing with people who are rioting and who are creating a mob, I think they're going to vote for security. And the president's got to take advantage of the ability to calm America and say, we've got this. We can protect you. We can protect your property. Let's not get in Twitter spats with NASCAR.
Congressman Rodney Davis from Illinois 13th on the phone with us. Congressman, I hear you saying that. Is that the message? I mean, between now and November, it seems like we've had some conversations with people on the show who are strategists within the GOP and things like that with the president. Is that the message you think he should be carrying through November, or is it a variety of things?
I think anytime you run for office, you just don't center on one message. You've got to have a variety of success stories. And really, when the president is focused, like that Mount Rushmore speech was one of the best speeches I thought that I've ever heard him give, and frankly, better than many presidential speeches I've heard. I thought he did an excellent job. And to see the media pan it as some type of race baiting was just really disappointing. So the president, when he's focusing on the message of the attacks on America, it works. But also, let's talk about what we've done together. There's going to be attacks on what did we do to fix the broken healthcare system. Well, you know what? We passed a bill that would have lowered premiums. It fell one vote short in the Senate, or it would be law right now, and it would have protected pre-existing conditions. Unfortunately, we've got to not let the Democrats create a new narrative that we didn't try to do something. We lowered your taxes. We made sure the economy was historically growing and unemployment was historically low. Criminal justice reform couldn't happen under President Obama's 2 terms, but President Trump worked with Democrats and got it done. Those are the messages I think he needs to run on, to talk about the successes. But unfortunately, the national news media is not going to give him a chance to get off of what the COVID numbers are of the day and some tweet that he may have sent out.
We're speaking with Congressman Rodney Davis, Illinois' 13th District, also my representative. Big, important question for you, and I don't know if you're prepared to answer this, but what the heck is Kanye West doing?
No idea, no care.
Non-issue, a non-factor.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to be on the ballot in Illinois. The ballot access for Illinois is closed. So, the area I represent will have zero impact. And you never know how serious these celebrities are. But if you put it into perspective, may actually help President Trump, to be honest with you. If he gets on the ballot in certain areas where he's popular, he may get votes that normally would have gone to Joe Biden.
Yeah. Is Joe Biden is he ever going to be held to the standard that a presidential candidate should be? Because the advocacy right now with so much of our media, the response that we keep hearing from, when is the president or when is the vice president going to come out and campaign? Everybody repeats almost verbatim that it seems to be working for him in the polls. They're like, this is a strategy, and he could be campaigning in the best possible way by just staying put, like almost winning by default, I guess, is the way they're looking at it.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. He could, and we don't know what COVID's going to look like. We don't know what our local and state leaders' response to COVID is going to look like. Are we in a second wave in the southern states? Are we going to see, because finally, we were treated downstate in Illinois to be able to open up parts of our economy because we met metrics for months already? Are we going to see an uptick? And is that going to make everybody begin to immediately shut everything down again? Is Pritzker going to do that? We don't know. I certainly hope not. You look at Missouri, you haven't seen a drastic uptick, and they've been open longer. So I hope we can continue to see our economies stay active and we can address any potential hotspots. But if there's a second wave coming in the fall, like we're being warned from all these epidemiologists who seem to give us a lot of information, sometimes consistent, a lot of times inconsistent, then we don't know what November is going to look like, guys.
Yeah. Do you think that Southern Illinois is gaining a voice a little bit more than they have possibly in the past?
Well, judging by all the Pritzker sucks signs, I think there's a voice that I didn't expect during this pandemic.
Those people are probably voting for you, Rodney.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily. And frankly, you see them in yards where they haven't been politically active in a lot of the communities I've been in. I don't advocate for that, but I do believe that at least sends a message that there's some frustrations when regionally we should have been taking a more regional approach, not just in Illinois but nationwide, and instead we've been held to standards of the urbanized areas around Chicago. And if that's the type of metric that's going to be used going into November, you're going to see a lot of frustration in downstate Illinois against Governor Pritzker and the Democrats.
Well, Congressman, we appreciate you coming on here as always, and we're looking forward to seeing if the payroll tax cut gets through, or a lot of people are wondering about stimulus checks coming around again, and I don't know how the Republicans and the Democrats in Capitol Hill are going to get together on something, but they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to do it for the people, and we look forward to following up with you when that happens.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Look forward to being part of that debate, and you know me, I'll always come on if you got my tunes.
Yeah, that's right. We've got it. We have a special Rodney Davis button, and it plays Nickelback, and you're the only person who requests that button. It's just kind of a shocker. We'll talk to you
We're going
soon.
to change that.
Yeah, one way or the other. Thanks so much, Congressman Rodney Davis, Illinois' 13th district. That's my representative, and always grateful to have him on here.
Yeah, it's called the Nickelback button, but he's the only one that requested, so we started calling it the Rodney Davis button.
Is it more likely that he's going to convince non-Trump supporters to vote Trump in November, or non-Nickelback listeners to listen to
I
Nickelback?
think more people are
Which is
probably
more-
entrenched on Nickelback than they are on Trump. I think the data bears that out.
There are two people out there right now who don't know if they're pro or anti-Trump, but there are no people out there who don't know how they feel about Nickelback. Let's take a quick break. We can do some phone calls when we come back. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Katie Fitzpatrick is taking a well-deserved day off, so we got Frank in the studio here with us. Ryan and I will be back with you on YouTube, on the Annie Frey YouTube page, on the Facebook page, on radio.com, and right there on your radio on 97.1 FM. Back in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Anton's Air Conditioning and Heating is looking to grow our team. Known for over-delivering excellence while serving the best clientele in the region, you would be proud to join the family. Anton's Air Conditioning and Heating, a Rheem Pro partner. Inquire today at antonshvac.com.
Hi, this is Lance Drury. If you have payroll tax problems, you have serious legal problems, you need an attorney. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
Rhino Shield means never paint again. Before you make the mistake of painting with traditional paint again, call Rhino Shield today for a free home or business estimate. The difference between Rhino Shield and regular paint, it has a thicker look and it looks more luxurious. Rhino Shield permanent ceramic wall coatings come with a 25-year transferable warranty. Great if you're staying, even better if you're selling. We have metal and flat roof coatings to extend their lives too. 15 years from now, it's going to have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. Thousands of customers whose projects we've done over the last 15 years are a terrific resource for us today. We've got a superior product and a great reputation. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? If the intent is to do something in 2020, make that vision perfect. Don't lose sight. See what we did there? Genius. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. I've been in the mortgage industry for about 17 years now, and I have never seen interest rates this low. At the Home Loan Expert office, we are locking loans in the twos, saving our clients hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month. The best part, when you do a refinance at the Home Loan Expert office, you'll skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. The 5-minute loan approval only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Are you nearing retirement and wondering when you can afford to retire? Are you concerned that you won't have enough income in retirement to live the same lifestyle as you are now? Are you also wondering how all the market volatility will affect your retirement? This is Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group, and we'd like to show you how to protect your retirement savings from any future losses and still participate in the market's growth. Call me now at 314-993-9494 for a free retirement review. We'll design your own personalized structured income plan that will show you exactly the type of retirement you could count on. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my best-selling book, The Boomer's Guide to a Worry-Free Retirement. This book covers everything I teach in our live events. I've been helping retirees and pre-retirees protect their retirement for 33 years. Call me now at 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. Once again, that's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
Hey guys, Glover here from my very good friends at ThrottleNet. So if you ever listen to one of these recorded ads, listen to this one. A company can expect 232 targeted cyber attacks per year that results in 30 breaches. 24% of businesses hit with malware took a week or more to regain access to their data. Many businesses just flat go under. They are targeting small towns. They are targeting dentist offices. They are targeting big businesses. They're targeting government. You're going to get hit. Let me tell you about ThrottleNet. ThrottleNet has saved their clients more than $2.6 million in ransom last year alone. And get this. ThrottleNet clients have never paid a dime in ransomware. Let me say that again. They've never paid a dime because they are protected. No contracts. Leave anytime you want. You have to check these guys out. You'll find them at throttlenet.com to protect your business, to protect everything you have. Go to throttlenet.com.
Someday, 2020 will be history. Until then, keep it here for the latest in what's happening. 97.1 FM Talk. Information with perspective.
I got my mind set on you.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Tonight, after mounting pressure, the NFL's Washington Redskins announcing it will conduct a thorough review of the team name, which has long been condemned as a derogatory slur against Native Americans. The team owner, Dan Snyder, writing in a statement that he wants input from others while taking into account the proud tradition and history of the franchise. It comes just one day after FedEx, the team's most prominent sponsor, asked the team to change its name. FedEx owns the naming rights to the field where the team plays in Maryland. Also on Thursday, Nike appeared to remove the team's products from its website. Both the NFL and Snyder had for years defended the team's controversial name, Snyder vowing never to change it.
So the Washington Redskins are under what I read was a thorough review, and the Cleveland Indians also at the same time discussing the possibility of changing their names. I don't. My thoughts on this, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. So comment on our Facebook Live and on the YouTube Live, Annie Frey on YouTube, Annie Frey Show on Facebook, or you can call us at 314-241-9797. There is a difference between standing your ground and not giving in to the outrage mob, the fake outrage mob. And there's a difference between that and making good business decisions where, you know, the people who run a private enterprise say, I think it would be best if we change. I am not the outrage mob is what is leading this conversation, but is it bad to be called the Redskins? I'm not of the class that is talking about. I could see how that would be offensive to some people, and I don't think that it would be if the Washington Redskins decided to change their name because they thought that was the best thing to do, and the players and the people who are involved in that wanted to be a part of something new. I don't know that that's something that I would personally. First of all, the NFL can just burn because they're dead to me. So I have a little bit of a jaded perspective towards anything NFL. By the way, Patrick Mahomes just signed a 10-year contract with the Kansas City Chiefs, if anybody's interested in that. I don't care about the NFL. I'm mad at the NFL. The NFL is driven only by the dollar, which means that if they go to change the name of the Washington Redskins, they're going to think that that's going to help them in business from a business standpoint. It isn't because they're all of a sudden social justice warriors.
Right.
So let's not think that they've all of a sudden gotten a soul in the NFL. The Cleveland Indians, I mean, I could see how that would be something that they might want to change. I kind of just leave it up to them and Cleveland to decide about it. Like if all of a sudden Cardinals became Like if there was, I don't even know how to parody that. If there was an angry mob of birds that was like, that's terrible to bluebirds, then okay, whatever. I just think it's like up to them. It's their battle to decide. And if Cleveland came out and said that they wanted to not be the Indians anymore and they were going to retire that and put it in history, I would be very against, as would I would think anybody who's ever played for the Indians or been a fan of the Cleveland Indians, that you would pretend as if the Cleveland Indians never existed. And anytime it came up in conversation, you'd be like outraged that you would say the word Indian. Like, it's part of history. They were the Cleveland Indians. Now they're the Cleveland Rockers or whatever. Just made that up. It's bad. Don't use that. So I just am like, you decide in your own community what you want to do, and then I'll go with it. Like, that's not the hill to die on for me. Ryan, do you have a strong opinion on that either way?
Well, I mean, I've already got a Cleveland Rockers jersey, so I guess I've already bought into the idea that we're going to be changing their name. But
that's a great name.
That's
a great name.
I mean, she said it. That's what it is going to be now.
Rockers.
There's something better there.
The secondary logo is a guitar up on the sleeve.
Lady.
I'm telling you, it works.
I don't know.
The Cleveland Rocks. I just connected it. Cleveland Rockers. Okay. No, I'm still on board though. Now that it makes I like
he was on board. He didn't even get it.
I know. I like when things don't make any sense at all. But this one is a really weird cross section to me of private enterprise and the mob. It's a weird time. I think in past year, this isn't a new subject. This issue has come up for years, and I think this time when I saw it in the news, I used to have an opinion. This time I'm like, I don't care. Just let them do whatever they want. I think they're wearing you down, and it's just like, okay, whatever. That one is not important anymore.
Frank, you're an avid sports fan. I don't know. You come on here and fill in for Katie one day, and I want you to weigh in on some really highly intense issues. But what do you think? Do you think it's time for them to change? Do you care? Are you going to be like blown away if they actually do make a change?
All three. Is that possible to say yes? All three. Yeah. I will be blown away by if they make the change. It has been a long time coming for some of these teams to recognize that from a business standpoint, it's going to make sense for them to make a change. And it's funny that it doesn't really matter when it's something that is a social issue, but when it comes down to dollars and cents, that's when Dan Snyder and the Redskins will make a change.
Yeah, Frank and I have the same burning hatred for the NFL, I think.
It's all about money. It's not about
yeah.
anything beyond that. It's because FedEx came out and said, hey,
yeah. When FedEx
we're
has
on
to
the
get
name
involved.
of your field, you're not playing here unless you change your team name to the Red Tails. And holy cow, how about that? They're going to have an in-depth conversation about it. Nobody's saying that they're changing anything, but Cleveland baseball's team, the Indians, have slowly been making the changes. They got rid of Chief Wahoo several years ago. They got rid of that iconic logo that kind of defined the team for everybody that watched Major League back in the late 80s or early 90s.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is just
like,
the C.
It's an old-fashioned looking baseball C, like a block C. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Actually, I kind of do know because I'm a University of Illinois fan, and we just had a comment on here. I'm going to make sure I give credit where credit is due. Kelly said, look how they took Chief Illiniwek away from U of I. And I cannot wait when I'm watching an Illinois event to yell Chief, because I think it's silly that they took it away. They are the Illini, and you know why they're the Illini? It's, to me, it's not a parody of it. Like, there's a lot of history that goes behind Chief Illiniwek and what he does. I'm not Native American, so I understand how my view of that, I'm like, oh, it's like historically reflective and blah, blah, blah. And then it's just like, okay, Annie, you're a white girl from the Metro East. What do you know? And it's like, okay, maybe I don't know anything. I'll just shut my mouth and pretend I never said anything. I don't see Illini as offensive. I don't see Illiniwek as offensive. Chief Wahoo, to me, Frank, let me know what you think about this too, but the Chief Wahoo depiction for the Cleveland Indians and the way that the Illini had Chief Illiniwek, I didn't see the like cartoonized version of a Linoweck the way
correct.
Yes. A Linoweck is a thing. Wahoo is a caricaturization of something. So I think is it different? Am I trying to make it different? I don't know.
I think it's tough
different.
because Illinois is Illinois. It's Cleveland is not an Indian name, but Illinois is, and so there is a difference there. I think you're right.
Do you want to see a name change
for the Indians from Cleveland or for all of them?
Any of them? What about the Chicago Blackhawks?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's all on the list of.
And if one changes, do they all have to change?
It seems like they probably would. Yeah, it seems like it would go by category. If it's every NHL team that has an issue, they all would do it, or every NFL team, or every college team. I mean, there's a lot of college teams that would have to take a second look at that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But as we've seen, though, they've been talking about this for how long? It's not just here in the past 30 days.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to turn these big battleships around. It's going to take some time just to get it done. And it's taken all this time just for the owner of the Redskins to finally say, hey, we're going to talk about it. But all we're doing is talking about it.
Frank is so spot on. Like in this day and age, you get credit for talking about it. And to Frank's point, and you know, this is what we were reporting with that sound we played. Thanks, FedEx. Like, give me a break. The money drives everything in a capitalistic society. That's the nature of the beast. It is extremely expensive to rebrand. Like, crazy expensive to rebrand anything, even on a much smaller scale. When you take it to the level of the NFL, what was it? Nike pulled all of the Washington Redskins stuff off their website. Like, there's nothing there. They're not going to sell it because I guess of, you know, racism or something. Man, I don't know.
The NFL is the epitome of what you're talking about, though, because there are in almost every circumstance, I will argue for the capitalist system. The NFL is the worst at using the capitalist system because they stand for absolutely nothing. They have no soul. And we've seen it play out in the last few years with the Colin Kaepernick stuff, but it was way before that. I remember watching and seeing them do the pink shoes and that stuff and think they do not care an iota about breast cancer. They're doing this because they're trying to expand their market into the female demographic. That's it. And that's all that drives every decision they make.
Kelly just commented, Fighting Irish. Now, don't come after my Fighting Irish. I'm a Notre Dame football fan by marriage. And that is because the Notre Dame football games have always been broadcast on NBC, which was free. And when you are kids from the 80s and you grew up with no cable and you grew up in the St. Louis Metro East, you didn't really have like a local football team, college football team to cheer for. That's who my husband watched play football. And then as we started dating, I got into the Saturdays. Otherwise I wouldn't see him on Saturdays. So had to sit, I like football and I was a huge Rams fan. I don't see, I mean, maybe I'm not looking hard enough again. Maybe this is an ignorant statement.
They're not
where are the outraged Irish?
They're not
outraged. They're celebrating.
They're not coming after that.
With
We don't need to worry about
freaking
that.
beer.
Drink your beer.
Drink your beer.
If there's football this fall.
Oh gosh. I did see some college sports coaches saying they'd be okay with a spring football season. I'm sure the baseball teams are excited to hear that. Man, I don't know what's going to happen. It's all crazy. Everything is weird. Everything is awful. So thank you for spending some time with us here in the afternoon because we're going to get through it together. Stick around, 314-241-9797. Join us on the phones. You can join us on our live webcams, and you can join us at radio.com. Download that app and favorite 97.1 FM Talk and subscribe to the Annie Frey Show podcast. Back in just a minute.
Whole lot of precious time. It's gonna take patience and time.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
I got my mind set.
You are listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating over 50 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law, they are the folks who you go to when you need to get all those estate plan questions asked and answered. If you don't have the first clue about how to start your estate plan, you still want to go to Beck and Lennox. They have had this web series that you can sign up for, and you can contact them right now through their website at beckelderlaw.com. If you'd like them to add you onto a waiting list for the next series that they offer, their staff is going to send you an invitation when the next ones are scheduled, puts you right in the front of the line to make sure you get your spot reserved. One of their legal services that is growing steadily is the Heritage Trust. This protects the inheritance your children and grandchildren receive from you in situations with bill collectors, bankruptcy, and divorce court. Call them at 636-946-7899. That's 636-946-7899 to schedule a consultation to discuss this great gift that you can leave for them. You can also visit them online at beckelderlaw.com.
Mark Cox here. Guys, let Victory Men's Health help you regain your vitality by optimizing your hormones, vitamins, and sexual health. Victory Men's Health has the most cutting-edge technologies to treat ED. They have wave therapy. Listen, this is the biggest advancement for men with ED since the launch of Viagra. That's pretty incredible. They do the treatments in their office. Victory Men's Health offers wave therapy in both their Illinois and Missouri location. Check them out online today at victorymenshealth.com.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station for many years as the financial expert. Trust and results are the two biggest factors in an advisor, and this is why Doug is so successful. So listen to Safe Money Radio 7 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk. He can see you at the office with plenty of distancing, of course. He can do a virtual call, 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Jim Taleb.
I think we're heading in the direction of basically attacking the idea of the police as an institution. That's tremendously unfair to the men and women who serve in it, and it's very dangerous.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9. This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for joining us. I got to say, it's good to have you back, Frank. Katie is taking the day off. She'll be back tomorrow. So did you start your day at like 11 or 9 o'clock today? When did you start today? You didn't work the morning show, did you?
I did not work the morning show.
So what time did you get to work?
8.
8. And normally you get to work at what time?
4.
Yikes. So will this throw your day off, or will you just go home and crash
100%.
at 8? Oh, sorry.
100%.
So he's going to get about 5 hours of sleep tonight because he won't be able to go to sleep.
This is all terrible news.
Exactly. I don't know what's going to happen tonight.
You're a coffee drinker, right?
Nope.
How do you manage? What do you do?
I don't like the taste of coffee.
Well, no, like for caffeine.
I don't drink anything with caffeine.
You've got a little
This is all
baby at
natural.
home. Like he's one,
he's 13
one,
months.
right?
Yeah.
So
he sleeps really well. He sleeps incredibly well. He's in bed by 7:30. He's up by about 6:30 or 7 in the morning. Today he slept till 8. I think Katie had to wake him up. My Katie, not Katie. It's always confusing.
Katie Fitzpatrick isn't here because she's waking up
She's
Frank's
waking
baby.
up my child at 8
Frank,
this morning, so I can be
so
here.
Frank can come to work.
Wife swap.
Yeah, we have Frank has a wife named Katie. Ryan has a wife named Katie. I have a producer named Katie and a sister named Katie. And they're like almost all spelled differently. My sister and my producer spell it the same. It's crazy. Ryan.
Yeah, so she's at home with him.
That works.
And he sleeps really well.
Go ahead.
From having been on a morning show previously, I will say, Frank, you're doing it the right way, because when I switched to having to wake up at 4:30 every morning and be on a morning show, it was.
God, I wish I could get up at 4:30 in the morning.
I know it was later than what you're currently doing, but I think anybody who gets up early consistently, you have to figure out how to do it. And caffeine is just not the way to do it because you get so addicted that you can't not have it.
I just haven't found anything that with caffeine in it that I like the taste.
Are you able to go to bed at 8 or whatever you said? Like, are you now
Generally,
at the point where you can fall asleep at that time? Because I wouldn't be able to fall asleep at that time.
We're getting much better with it since it's been however many months it's been since the big switcheroo. But yeah, we're trying to go to bed in that 8 to 9 hour. Lights out at 9 at the latest. Hopefully earlier. That's the game plan. Take a nap during the afternoon when I'm home.
Yeah. You just gotta learn. I worked mornings for at the old place, the sports place that I worked at. I worked starting at 4 or 5 in the morning, I think it was, is when we had to be on the air, so I had to be there before that. And I lived at the time in Hamel, Illinois, and I worked in Webster Groves. And so I had to leave my house at like 3:30 in the morning. I worked an hour away, was making like $7 an hour. I made less money per hour working in Missouri than at the radio station than I would have made working minimum wage in Illinois. Whew. And this was after I got hired on to work for free. That is like, ooh, $7 a whole hour
with experience.
Yeah. It's well, and I graduated college in 2006 and then everything went to crap. So you just did what you had to do to be in the industry. That was definitely me paying my dues. And I did a lot of that. And especially when you consider the fact that some of the shows that I was running on that radio station, I ran Air America. And if you don't know what Air America is, it's basically all liberal, progressive talk radio.
Oh man, would love to see how you did that.
I always said the only way to do this is if I got paid to do it, and I did. Not very much, but I did get paid. But I did a Randy Rhoads show. I did Neil Bortz, which is, I don't think Neil Bortz was Air America. Might have been, but he was libertarian, I think. I did Al Franken's show.
Oh man, why is Annie's face so red all the time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was interesting. I found it to be very interesting to hear the other side, but I remember working that right after the 2008, I think it was the 2008 election, maybe on the 2006 election too. I'm not 100% sure, like the midterms. That was rough. And I remember Neil Bortz. This is funny. Neil Bortz, if you're not familiar with Neil Bortz, he's a libertarian. He would have a fill-in, and I'd always when he'd have his fill-in, this man had a very distinct voice and diction to him. It was Herman Cain, who we found out this weekend was in the hospital with COVID, but apparently he's been doing better. But I remember listening to Herman Cain, and he'd be talking about his pizza, Godfather's Pizza. Isn't that what he?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then like when Herman Cain was running during the primary in 2016, I was listening to him talking. I'm like, gosh, I know this guy, but why do I know Herman Cain? And then all of a sudden it like hits you like a ton of bricks.
Was it Godfathers?
I think it's Godfathers.
Okay. I'll trust you.
That came to me, and if you Googled it and found out I was wrong, I wouldn't fight you. Ryan, you've been doing a no sugar diet. Well, you were supposed to be doing a no sugar diet. How's
I'm
that
still
going?
doing it. That's why I'm looking up pizza right now, just because I'm so fascinated by the idea of pizza. I can't eat. Not only can I not eat sugar, I can't eat any bread or carbs, anything.
That's sugar.
Because it all just turns into sugar. I really thought I had found a loophole because there's this stevia soda that I had mentioned, I think last week, called Zevia. It doesn't taste
horrible
great.
name, but okay.
Yeah, it's fine, but it kind of scratches the itch, And I just found out yesterday that stevia is on the list of things that I can't drink either. So I have no outlet. I'm
Stevia?
going nuts. Yeah.
Stevia is usually the one that is permitted because it's natural or not. It's not chemically based, I think.
And it doesn't affect your blood sugar. So I thought, well, I'm sure this is fine then. It wasn't necessarily on the list, but there's a few things that I found that weren't on my little list for my diet that were fine. That was not one of them. I've been breaking the diet all weekend.
You broke the diet all weekend?
I was drinking that soda. Yeah.
But have you eaten any red, white, and blue cupcakes? Have you had any gummy worms, gummy bears?
Nothing. It was physically this weekend. I will say that I felt more tired than usual And I think that's probably the sugar, because I would use the sugar to kind of give myself an up. But other than that, it's been okay. The cravings are real bad still. But
You want to read Christopher's comment there?
Christopher says, Ryan is on the not worth living diet. That is correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Wow.
Well, I'm doing a very short investment of health here for 1 month, and then I'm going to get back to living. I'm going to get back to living big.
Sugar.
I made.
Well, we'll see.
You remember Men in Black? Edgar. He's like, sugar. I need sugar. You remember? You remember?
Yes.
He's
It was
the
the
alien,
original.
and he survives with sugar.
It was Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, he was the bad guy.
Never.
I
heard of
made
that
a Nutella gooey butter cake this weekend.
How does that sound, Ryan?
I would eat
Like a
eat
whole tray of that,
cardboard
wouldn't
with
you?
sugar on it right now. I mean, wet
This was a lot better than cardboard.
It sounds slightly better.
Man, here's a little brief story we can chat about before we turn this over to the Dave Glover Show. Daily Caller is reporting this. Colin Kaepernick signs deal with Disney and ESPN. Will make a documentary about his life. Colin Kaepernick has reached this deal to make a series about his life. According to Variety, the former 49ers quarterback will be, quote, chronicled in a documentary series developed by ESPN Films as part of a first look deal between Walt Disney and Kaepernick's Raw Vision media production company. The two companies will also work together to create content, quote, that deal with race, social injustice, and the quest for equality, and work to showcase directors and producers of color. I might actually watch that just to see, like, when Kaepernick has the opportunity to put it all out there in a way that is condensed and consolidated. Is he trying to persuade people, or is he trying to shun people? I don't feel like the Kaepernick message so far has been, it like raises the question, but it's not interested in participating in the dialogue. Maybe that's the responsibility of other people in his mind to pick up where he left off. I did see a Kaepernick tweet. He tweeted this weekend about how this is a white supremacist holiday. 4th of July is a white supremacist holiday. But in 2011, he tweeted like, hey, it was like very flowery, like, I just want to say happy Independence Day to all the people out there. Celebrate safely and have a good one or something. It was just very what you would expect somebody to say on the 4th of July. And then a few years later, it's, how dare you celebrate this white supremacist holiday? The arc is drastic.
Of course it is. Gosh.
So
that guy.
And you'll see this from a lot of other people. I don't, who has the time to dig through people's tweets when you go back 10 years? Man, we have changed so incredibly much in 10 years. And I still contest that the majority of people in this country understand that there might be a different experience for Black Americans in this country than there are for white Americans. And I think that it's smart and compassionate to consider that and put yourself in someone else's shoes, or just stop and pause and be willing to listen to somebody else's perspective. Just to understand that maybe there are things that you don't experience that other people do, and maybe that's just the way it is. And then ask yourself, is there a way for me to be a part of the solution here or not? But good grief, when you see people at breakneck speed here, going from Happy 4th of July, red, white, and blue, American flag emoji, to the 4th of July is a white supremacist holiday, and like just judging everybody out there who doesn't see it that way. It almost feels like they're selling something. And I'll be interested to see if this documentary gets made. This is the type of thing that I actually kind of enjoy watching, because I want to see what the other side has to say. And at the end, I'm not going to be required to sign anything that says I agree completely. Although I guess I'm making that assumption.
Herman Cain, Godfather's Pizza. You were correct.
Duh.
Good job. Good job.
Like I said, I was paid to listen to all that stuff, and I
right.
listened to it sometimes. It then changed over to sports talk radio, and that was quite a different story to listen to that after it was Air America, because Air America went under. Thank you for listening today. Please consider going to radio.com and listening to the podcast there. If you miss anything, we'd love to have you subscribe to the Annie Frey Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. and liking us on Facebook, subscribing on YouTube. We're everywhere that you are so that we can build our relationship with you. Thank you for being with us. The Dave Glover Show is coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Turn up the band, fire, no, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart, so beat the drum with me.
So at Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance,